outs that I know of so far. If I'm missing some of the shout outs, please somebody jump in. But a shout out to Marky Mark out there in Dallas. Sat there and
Yo,
scored
yo.
himself another deal yesterday. Good job, Marky Mark.
Thank
Good
you.
job, Mark.
Um, we cruise out there to Seattle, and Seattle got at least two more yesterday. Ari, nice job on your doors. And then Miss Leah, you scored again yesterday as well. So that's a nice job. And then we've got the Caminator out there in Salt Lake City. He got himself one yesterday as well. So did I miss anybody? Did anybody in Portland score yesterday?
Well, I had a homeowner who, it was kind of a cool story. It was like one of the earlier on when I was a junior partner, one of the first doors that I kind of knocked when I was like serious about pushing a senior partner. And I knocked on it and Grant sold a phase one, and then they did a phase two like a year later. And she emailed me yesterday afternoon and was like, hey, I want to finish out the project. When can we link up to kind of go over the numbers? And I called her in the evening. And I kind of rolled the dice a little bit just because we had a good relationship. She's done it a couple times, but I pulled the paperwork, worked up the numbers, went over it with her on the phone. She was like, okay, no, that sounds good. It is more expensive, but I get it. And I was like, well, kind of leverage that every year we usually have a price increase in Q1. So if she wants to do it, I would do it sooner rather than later. She's like, all right, let's do it. So I was like, okay, you have another 20 minutes right now? She goes, yep. So I literally typed up the paperwork, sent it to her through DocuSign. She signed it, got the down payment, transitioned it in and everything. So 44 minutes from the time that I called her to talk about it to contract signed, job sold, DPN. So that was pretty cool. And then she goes, great, now all I need to do is the doors on this house next. And I was like, great, let me tell you about Provia. So she's super interested in Provia. She says, I'll probably need to wait a month before I can be serious about that. But she's super interested in getting the doors done through Provia too. And she's got 3 of them, two French doors and a front door. So that's cool.
Yep. So nice job. So it looks like every office scored yesterday except for Phoenix. Phoenix did not score yesterday. So we came in as the pansies of the day. We didn't sit there and get anything. So I do appreciate Ari, though, because Ari sat there and told me yesterday, seeing how Leah already scored there, she was just going to sit there and count hers for Phoenix. So it looks like we all scored. So 5 deals yesterday. Nice job, everybody. Let me see. 1, 3, 4, 5. Yep, 5 deals yesterday. So nice job to everybody out there. We'll go ahead and I do want to go ahead and get into talking about what we did and what our margins were, but let's table that for a minute. At the same time, Norm, I do know that there is a scenario you wanted to bring up as to what you ran into, so we'll table that for a minute. I talked to Cam last night, and then we will cover that before we get off this call, if you're okay with that, bro. Okay, cool. So what I want to get into real quick, though, is Provia doors. We do not sell enough Provia doors, and I understand why we don't. I now understand a lot better now. Part of that, I think, is not everybody is comfortable with Provia doors, and at the same time, too, I know it's a big pain in the ass because we have to have you have to make out 2 different contracts. What an absolute nightmare that is. So I understand. I am talking to Heather and Brett and David now to try to get us from having to do that. I don't want to have to do 2 contracts. I think it's truth be told, between all of us here, I think it's the dumbest shit I've ever heard of in my entire life, to be honest with you. Okay. I just think it's stupid. I've been dealing with Provia for over 13 years now. And this is the only company I've ever heard of that does 2 separate contracts when dealing with Provia. So I don't even know what to say about that other than it's just absolutely dumb. So I know that is part of the reason why we don't do it, but we cannot shy away from that just because we have to do contracts, because there's a lot of money in Provia doors. There really is. By doing Provia doors, we raise our average ticket, and all the things that goes along with it. So that being said, with Provia, one of the good things about them is that their customer service is absolutely insane. So if you're a rep in a house during business hours, if you need help and you call Provia's customer service, you will not only will talk to a live human being, but they're great about helping in the house. They really are. Even if something can't be done, your iPad's telling you it can't be done. If it's during business hours, you'll want to give them a call because they might be able to help you out and say, hey, look, you can't do this, but here's what we can do, though, to be really, really close. But their customer service is impeccable when it comes to helping the business and when it comes to helping the rep, to be honest with you, when you're out there. Okay. So that's a good thing. And the product itself, in my opinion, it is the best entry door I've ever seen. I've bounced around and moved around for the last 13 years, and I've never lived on a house that doesn't have Provia, that I don't put Provia doors on it, even if it's a rental house. So the place that my wife and I live at now is rental property, but my front door and my garage door, I had Provia doors put on it. And the last rental property that my wife and I had in Dallas before I came here, both the back door and the front door, I had Provia doors put on it. So I don't care if it's rental or not, it's still worth it to me to pay for it because of the peace of mind that Provia offers. So I do want to go ahead and talk about that. And let's talk about how to pitch that. Since it does appear, though, that a lot of us either are not familiar with Provia or just don't basically know how to pitch it. Okay. I've heard some of the chatter amongst the office that the Provia reps come in, they're not a lot of help and all that. Well, I get it. Truth be told, their job is not to teach us how to pitch it. Their job is just to teach us to give you guys the information, and we have to figure out how to pitch it themselves. A lot of it depends on who the area rep is that you have. Some of them are a lot more help than others. The relationship that I have with Provia, especially my rep and his boss, which would be Keith Schlabach and Kim Mast, we're real tight. So those guys work with me a lot more than maybe some of your other your guys' area reps do. So for that, I'm sorry, but if you need help with Provia, if you let me know, I can do a lot of things to get a lot of help. So to give you an example, I bought 4 meter kits, or I got 4 meter kits for Phoenix, and we don't have co-op money for the most part. We just don't have any because we're not selling Provia product. These kits are $476 a piece, and I ordered 4 of them for Phoenix that my area rep got me for free. He had them drop shipped to his house, and he's delivering those 4 today for me, little later on this afternoon. So $1,900 worth of product, and all I had to do was ask him for some help, and he did. So I've got a real good relationship. If there's a way I can help, if you guys need anything, you let me know, and I can certainly make things happen for you guys if I can. Right now, I'm working on that kiosk for UK for the door out there, and for others, I'm working on the window kiosks themselves, because the window kiosks are a lot better than the all side kiosks that we have. That's going to take a lot more schmoozing to get that for free, because that's about 10 grand worth of crap that I'm going to try to pick up. But some way, somehow, I'll find a way to be able to get most of this stuff, and we not have to pay for it. So that being said, let's get into Provia. So by the show of hands, who struggles with Provia? By the show of hands, who struggles with Provia door? Got you. Okay, so pretty much everybody. Okay. So with Provia, obviously there's a couple things we want to watch out for. Okay. As you guys know, we have basically 3 different type of doors from Provia we can use: the Heritage, the Signet. Both of those products are going to be fiberglass. And then you have Legacy Steel, which of course is a steel product itself. Steel is a good way to go ahead and go. Things that you're going to want to be alive on and pay attention to when you're dealing with these steel entry doors, whether it's a front door or a back door. What you want to pay attention to is the sun. The sun is a big deal, okay, no matter where you live. All right. If these doors take in direct sunlight and the sun is hitting the doors directly, steel is not your best product to use. The one drawback that I will tell you about Provia is its steel door. Okay. Their steel doors through Provia, they do not have wooden mortises. And because they don't have a wooden mortise, any door that takes in direct sunlight, that heat will wrap around the door and back into the house. And that door can become a pretty hot product, especially since it's steel. Okay. So The question is to start out with is what is a wood mortise? Funny you should ask. So a wood mortise is going to be this. This is your door here. Okay. Here's a cutaway of our doors. All right. If this was a steel door, and it's not, this is fiberglass, but if it was steel, all right, this piece you see right here, this piece of wood that separates one side from another, and there's no metal to metal contact, this is your mortise here. So if this is your door slab, your wood mortise goes all the way around. Because Provia doesn't have a wood mortise, that means the door has metal to metal contact all the way around it. So any doors that take in direct sunlight, that heat will wrap around the door and come into the house. So steel is not a good product for a door that is getting direct sunlight. Even though it may be priced, you'll probably want to stay away from that, because if a customer is replacing it, especially for energy efficiency, they're not going to get out of it what they want. At the same time, too, though, in these climate areas like Portland, Seattle, and Salt Lake City, they get really cold. Again, that cold will wrap around the door and come back into the house. So your better product for that type of thing is going to be your fiberglass. Fiberglass itself, as we know, is temperature ignorant. But again, like you see with this fiberglass door here, it's not fully wrapped. So you have your wood mortise that goes all the way around. Okay. So that's the thing to go ahead and pay attention to. Number one is weather when you start dealing with steel versus fiberglass. Okay. The second thing is all the doors have polyurethane insulation. Okay. So this is going to be our polyurethane. Polyurethane is a wonderful, wonderful insulator. It really is. The drawback to polyurethane is that polyurethane is extremely toxic when it burns. Okay. Polyurethane insulates better than fiberglass does, but they don't use polyurethane for homes because of how toxic it is if it catches fire. All right. So most of your Provia doors, because they're polyurethane insulated, they're going to have a 90-minute fire break, meaning if the door catches fire, it'll take approximately 90 minutes for the fire to get from the outside of the door to your polyurethane. So after 90 minutes, you're going to have a problem with toxic fumes. Just so you know, after 90 minutes, the house is gone anyway. No house burns for 90 minutes. The damn thing's gone in 90 minutes. So that's how we protect, how Provia protects against that, is all these doors are going to come with a 90-minute fire break. Okay. Now.
Hey, Terry, can I ask you a question on that real quick?
No.
Okay. Thank you very much. Have a great day.
Okay. Go ahead.
So why is there an option, like when you're doing a garage door, to select for the fire rating or fire? I don't know if that's
okay. So
else.
Let's table that because I'm actually getting ready to cover that. Okay. So let's table that for a second. I got you back here.
Sounds good.
Okay. I got you. Okay. So again, the door has a 90-minute fire break. However, when you're sitting there and choosing a door that has to be a fire rated door, your fire rated doors typically is only going to be one door and one door only. And that's the door that goes from the inside of the house, typically your kitchen, into your garage. Okay. More often than not, that door that goes into the garage, from in the house into the garage, is going to have to be fire rated. What fire rated means is it's going to switch your frame of the door from a wood frame to a metal frame. Okay, a steel frame. That's why when you go to that, Mark, it's not changing the door type itself. Fire rated means that it's automatically going to switch to a steel frame. Okay, you have to have a steel frame on a fire rated door, because if it's a wood frame, the wood frame catches fire, the fire wraps around that wood and gets into the garage a lot faster. Typically, especially since most of these doors go from the kitchen into the garage, every now and then it'll go from like a breezeway or a mudroom into the garage. But typically most of these go from kitchen in the garage. So this way, if the kitchen catches fire, people kept gasoline and flammable stuff like that in their garage. If it's a wood frame, the fire gets around it a lot faster. So on a fire rated door, your frame is automatically going to be a steel frame, and there is no other option when it comes to a fire rated door. It's automatically going to be a steel frame. Does that answer your question, brother? Okay, so
On a steel door, then it doesn't actually change anything because that already has a steel frame. Right.
correct. Right. So steel doors can come with wood frames or steel frames. But once you switch to fire rating, it's automatically going to switch to steel frame, and it's going to take wood frame off as an option. Okay. So just keep in mind when you're selling doors from in the house that goes into the garage, always select fire rated door, and you'll automatically go ahead and get that steel frame. Okay. It'll be automatic. All right. The other thing is, since we're talking about parts and things like that for right now, especially out there in Dallas, you get a lot of these out in Dallas. You guys got a lot of brick out there. A lot of these doors will have brick, or they have masonite paneling, things like that around them. So you have to order the brick mold when you're replacing the doors. Okay, that brick mold, when you're ordering it, you want to order the brick mold separate from the door. You don't want to order it attached to the door. Ordering brick mold attached to the door is a pain in the ass. The problem is when it's attached, a lot of times when the door is in the box and they strap these things into the truck, the damn things get on there tight. And what happens is the brick mold bends. Okay. So your best bet is when you order it, if it gives you the option of attached or unattached, you want unattached. This way the brick mold is in a box by itself, and it doesn't sit there and get bent up as often as it does if it's attached to the door. Okay.
Yeah, the verbiage on that, Terry, is quote unquote loose on the unit.
That would be correct, sir. So thank you for that, Mark.
Keepers.
Okay, so what makes Provia such a good product, though? Why is the door so good? Why am I sold on it so much? Number one, I'm a security nut, something Ferris. I am big time into security. Okay. What makes Provia so good, number one, is Provia has an adjustable striker plate. Okay. Provia has an adjustable striker plate. So if this kit would be complete, which it's not, god damn it. I apologize. Nope, I was not able to find it. This kit is incomplete. I apologize, guys. I don't have it. Hey, Cody, do you have a kit handy next to you? Can you pull out that adjustable striker plate for me?
I have one in the car, I think. You mean I don't know that we have any other strike plate other than that. Are you talking about the threshold?
No. Kate, I know you do over there. We used your sample over there in the car in the office. Pull up one of those puppies and pull that adjustable striker plate out for me, please.
I haven't have a. Am I gonna have to? So I even just.
I don't
I
have
have
that.
a-
mic yet.
I have this too, so I can, maybe it doesn't go that.
There you go. Okay,
So-
so if you'll look at this here, move that over a little more. No, move it. Put it back on the table. Move right there. Put it on the table right there where the rag is, please. Roger that. Okay, so this is your striker plate. Okay, if you look at your striker plate is the part on the door that when the door closes, your lock goes inside. And your deadbolt, you'll have a striker plate up at the top where your deadbolt is. So when the door when it closes and you put your deadbolt, it'll slide into it. The hole that you see here, all that is your striker plate. This striker plate is an adjustable striker plate. If you take your Phillips screwdriver that Kate has there, if you'll go ahead and loosen those two screws there a couple turns, that striker plate will slide back and forth. The striker plate has teeth on it. Underneath that, where it attaches, is also teeth. So what happens is when the door gets loose, okay, when the door gets loose, a customer can unscrew that, slide that back and forth. Okay, you have to push forward, Kate. You see, go ahead and take it out completely, Kate, so they can see it, please. I'm sorry. But a customer can adjust that so they can push it in and then put the screws down so the door stays nice and tight at all times. Okay.
Brody, I swear.
So in a lot of times, as the temperature changes, doors start to expand and contract. Okay, you can see the teeth there in the middle, and if you'll take that striker plate, Kate, that you just took off, flip that upside down so they can see the little lip on that.
Upside down?
The other way, behind it where the teeth is. There it is.
Okay.
So there's another little tooth right there in the hole there. You see it at the bottom of that hole there. That grabs onto the teeth that's on that striker plate there. So it'll stay locked into place. This way the door stays tight at all times. Thank you, Kate. Okay. A lot of doors have adjustable striker plates. Masonite has one. Thermal-Tru has one. A lot of them do. The next thing that a lot of ones do is they have self-adjusting thresholds. Okay. The threshold at the bottom of the door, your threshold here, the thresholds here are self-adjusting. Okay. This is going to be your threshold here. What makes Provia unique is the self-adjusting threshold. Provia makes the only door that comes with a self-adjusting threshold and an adjustable striker plate at the same time. Most every other company, to my knowledge, as of now, all other door companies have either one or the other, but they don't have both of them at the same time as standard as part of their doors. Okay. So what Kate is showing and what you guys are seeing right here, this is your self-adjustable threshold. So as the things expand and contract, as things start to settle, their threshold will adjust all by itself. The biggest part that a door leaks air usually is the bottom at the threshold. So with the door having a self-adjustable threshold, it stays nice and tight at the bottom to be able to cut back drastically on the amount of dirt and dust and air infiltration that comes up underneath the door. Okay. Obviously, you guys are familiar with a slope seal and what the advantages are to that. So we don't need to get into that because everybody here, I would assume, knows that. But for those that may not, this just keeps the weather and the water, the dirt and everything roll back away from the door. That's all. Okay.
And there's great video, like if you're calculating, there's a great video about like the self-adjusting threshold that's kind of nifty I've shown before. And then just so you guys are clear, it comes standard self-adjusting unless you get the Heritage. Heritage is an option to get the self-adjusting. Heritage, I don't really sell that much unless I have to, but just so you guys know.
Right.
Standard, legacy, and
So-
Signet.
That is correct. So when you're dealing with Provia and you're dealing with the Heritage fiberglass door, that's the only door that you have to select self-adjustable threshold. Okay. So we want to make sure that we select the self-adjustable threshold. All right. So with Provia, not only do you have a self-adjustable striker plate along with, or an adjustable striker plate along with a self-adjusting threshold, so the door stays nice and tight, but on that striker plate, they have a wraparound striker plate, which looks like this. Your wraparound striker plate wraps back around and into the door frame itself. Okay. You will not see this. The customer cannot see this because it wraps around the frame and everything. And then your door and whatnot and everything else is going to be basically here. Okay. They won't see it. But because of this wraparound striker plate, the door takes approximately 400 joules to kick open. Okay. So at 400 joules, basically what that is a 350-pound man running 17 miles an hour into the door to be able to kick the door open. A dude that big that can run that fast, if they do kick the door in and get in, my suggestion would be give up everything. Take the dog, the cat, the kids, all the beer and food, and just give it up because there's probably not bullets big enough to shoot a person that big. Okay. However, that being said, you can get, like Kate said, you can also get on YouTube. Provia has covered the security portion of their door pretty good on YouTube, where they actually show that door getting hit and what everything that it takes to be able to kick the door open. It's pretty impressive. In order to kick the door open, you literally have to sit there and bring just about the frame and everything in at the same time. Okay. So, true story. Years ago, when I was in Tucson, we sold windows and doors to a customer. This young lady, had a child that was 11 years old, and apparently was a pretty sick kid. So the kid ran around with one of those, things around his neck, the button that you press, I fall and I can't get up type of buttons. One day while he was at home, he had some sort of a seizure and whatnot and hit his button. The life alert deal to let everybody know what's going on. Ambulance, police, everybody showed up to this guy's house. Mom was at work. So mom was trying to hurry up and get back to the house at the same time. When the police and everybody got there, okay, they were trying to kick through the front door and they couldn't. They used the battering ram, the whole bit, could not get in. So they ended up actually going through the backyard and busting the sliding glass door to get in. Once everything was over with, though, they asked the mother, where'd you get the doors? What the hell is going on here? We actually sold 5 doors to a couple of the police officers and the ambulance guys because of that. They were so impressed by it. And what the police actually said was, is if every criminal had this on their home, then they would be in trouble in trying to kick doors open. That's a true story. That happened in Tucson in 2017 when that happened. So a story that you could tell that is in fact a true story. But in 2017 is when that happened. When I was there, it was pretty cool. So
Can you just let them what the regular door, how big that is normally, like a standard, like the builder grade, you told us like it's like this big. So they understand
Right.
like most.
Well, your standard builder grade doors don't have a wraparound striker plate, period. The only thing that they have is the striker plate that you see that Kate showed you guys. So typically what happens is when you kick a door open, look, that shit you see on TV where the dude kicks the damn door and everything falls. Okay, that's a load of bullshit. That stuff doesn't really happen for the most part in For Realsy's life. That's not the way it really works, okay? Number one, a lot of these hollow core doors, a lot of these doors that you're going to run across, especially the older ones, there's a lot of hollow core doors. Truth be told, with a hollow core door, you could literally take a box cutter, cut a hole in the door, cut another hole in the other panel, and you can actually reach in and unlock the door. But there are doors out there that are hollow core doors. Now, as an ex-cop, I've actually kicked the hollow door open or tried to, and I couldn't kick the door open. My foot went through the damn door and I got stuck. So kicking doors like that, that doesn't work that way in For Realsy's life. But the way it works is when you kick a door, the 2 screws that are in the striker plate, your door lock pushes through that. The screws pop out. And then the casing that's in the front of it, it usually breaks and the door flies open. But this business is about kicking it falls down the ground. Guys, that's not what really happens in For Realsy's life. So in our case, because of the wraparound striker plate, the screws and everything can't push through the door. So the only way to really get the door to kick open that way is you have to sit there and take the frame and all with it. So when you're selling these doors, make no mistake about this, extremely, extremely, extremely secure when locked and closed, extremely. Okay. On top of that, we have the opportunity to be able to sell screen doors as well. So I don't know what everybody has done in the past, but here's what I will tell you now, though. We can sell a Provia screen door as long as we sell a Provia door. What I do not want to sell is I do not want to sell screen doors by themselves. They're a pain in the ass to install. They're never worth the money for the installer because the damn things are hard to match up. But if you sell a Provia door and you want to sell a screen door along with that, or a storm door, some people will call it, that's going to be okay. All right. For me, when I'm selling Provia doors, I always put the storm door and add it right away. I always add it, tell them, okay, folks, here's what the door is going to be. Here's everything. And oh, by the way, this will also come with a storm door as well. Most people will say, okay. Some people will ask, is that an extra charge? Then, of course, we want to go ahead and say yes. What we can't say is for this price, we're going to give you the door for free. We can't say that. But what we can sit there and say is for this price, you also get a storm door as well. And then we can go ahead and pitch the storm door as well. Storm doors we'll get into a little bit later. It's a little different type of a pitch. But for right now, I just want to concentrate on the entry part and the storm door, or the steel or the signet door, the fiberglass doors themselves. Okay. So that's kind of the gist of it as far as parts and pieces and things like that go. From there, we start getting into different things, casing that we may or may not have to do on the inside of the house. Again, brick mold on the outside. And then on top of that, with the doors, peepholes. Okay, we're going to want to make sure that we cover peepholes because you can adjust the peepholes. You also might be able to, for example, I don't know, Cody. Cody's a tall cat. If he had a daughter or a son that was like 13 years old, you can actually put two peepholes, one higher up for Cody and one farther down for somebody else. You can go ahead and do that if need be. The other thing is going to be the hinges on the doors. As a rule, 96-inch tall doors come with 4 hinges. 80-inch doors come with 3. Where you want to separate yourself from everybody else is always ask for 4 hinges, no matter the size of the door. On an 80-inch door, adding that 4th hinge, I can tell you now, you can feel the difference in the operation right away. It is a much smoother operating door with that 4th hinge. Plus, with that 4th hinge, the door doesn't sit there and get out of whack near as much when the house starts to settle. Plus, that'll separate you from everybody else because most everywhere else you go, if it's an 80-inch door, it's going to be 3 hinges instead of 4. So always select the 4th hinge and always sell 4 hinges. Okay. At the same time, too, going back to the garage doors, when you are putting in a fire rated door, the doors are supposed to come with bomber hinges. Okay. For those that do not know what a bomber hinge is, simply put, it's a self-closing hinge. That's all. So the door closes on its own. Typically, the way bomber hinges work, though, as standard, is if you have a 3-hinge door, 2 doors will be bomber hinges, or 2 hinges will be bomber, 1 will be a regular hinge. Basically works the same way also for a 96-inch. If you have 4 hinges, 2 of them are usually bomber hinges. The other 2 are going to be regular hinges. Always order all bomber hinges, period. No regular hinges on anything if you want to add self-closing. Okay. So if a customer wants a self-closing door, even on their entry door, if that's what they want, then put all hinges to be bomber hinges. That's the option you want to select. The reason being is bomber hinges are very grouchy when you go to adjust them. Even Provias, they're very grouchy. And when you go to adjust these things, they break really easily. Okay. A lot of times on these doors, if they're not all bomber hinges, the door doesn't want to close all the way. A lot of times what it'll do is the door will sit there, and instead of closing all the way like this, the door wants to sit there and stop right about there instead of closing all the way. So by having all bomber hinges on there, you give the door the opportunity to be able to close all the way like it was meant to do. Okay. So for the cost of $100 or whatever it is, you're just better off putting that on there. It prevents a service charge later, is what it's going to do. And some beef, where somebody gripes later. So you might as well just put all bomber hinges. So anytime somebody wants a self-closing door, put all bomber hinges. A garage door is going to require bomber hinges, period. That has to be self-closing. That's part of the fire rated. Okay. Up till this point, any questions so far to this point? Cool. Okay. So how do you pitch a door? Really and truly, a door pitch should only last you about 15 minutes. It's pretty quick. It's pretty easy. You just have to kind of make a thing about it. So what I'm going to do is this for you. So here we have a door in the office, okay? When I'm pitching a door, because the door pitch is so quick, and because there's really not a ton of crap to cover like there is windows, okay? You have to kind of make a thing about it. So when I'm pitching a door, what I talk to the customer about is I tell them, on this door, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, the way it works is this. What we're going to go ahead and do when we replace this door is, unlike a lot of companies, all they'll do is replace just your door slab itself. What we're going to do is we're going to remove your door. At the same time, too, we're going to take out your jamb frames here and here. We're going to take the header frame out. And at the same time, too, we're going to take your threshold completely out as well. Now, when we go to replace this, what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and put a brand new threshold in. That threshold is going to be a self-adjusting threshold, okay? That self-adjusting threshold means that as the house settles, your threshold will go up and down to make sure it stays nice and tight at the bottom, making sure that the air and everything does not come through this. I'll be able to go ahead and show you this in a minute when I'm done here. At the same time, too, we're then going to go ahead and replace your door jambs here and here. And at the same time, we're going to put a brand new header jamb in as well. By doing that, we're going to be able to square this off. So the opening will now be square, because as of right now, it's not square anymore because the house has settled. And because the house has settled, the opening is no longer square. We're going to square that off for you. At the same time, too, though, when we take this frame out, when we go to put the new frame in, what we're going to do is we're going to put a wraparound striker plate. Here's what that wraparound striker plate looks like. We're going to take this wraparound striker plate, and when we go ahead and install your door, that striker plate is going to wrap back around and into the frame itself like this. And then your frame is going to go onto it over here. This way, the only way to kick this door open is the frame and everything has to come with it. Now, the striker plate, which you have right here, right now, it's not self-adjusting. Mine is going to be self-adjusting. Self-adjusting means if I take my little screwdriver here, like you have here with the Phillips screws, I can unscrew mine. See how it goes back and forth? You see this? Mine's going to be able to do that. So again, as the door starts to expand and contract and settle and get a little funny, we'll be able to keep this tight at all times. Now, because of this type of a striker plate and a wraparound plate that goes back into the frame this way, what we're able to go ahead and do is when somebody kicks this door open or tries to, they have to take the entire door frame with them. What that means is my door takes approximately 400 joules to kick open, meaning that's roughly in English, a 350-pound person running 17 miles an hour into the door. That's about what it's going to take to be able to kick this door completely open, okay, for somebody to be able to come in. You and I can actually look at this on YouTube here pretty shortly, and I'll be able to show you what that actually looks like because there's testing for this door on YouTube. Unfortunately, we're not going to be able to see the 350-pound man running 17 miles an hour, but you'll be able to get an idea of how this actually works, okay? At the same time, too, when we do this, we've got an 80-inch door here, folks, is what you have. Your 80-inch door has 3 hinges. All 80-inch doors typically come with 3 hinges. In our case, we're going to add a 4th hinge. This way it causes the door to operate much, much smoother. Okay. And it also makes it so it doesn't come out a square near as often or as fast as your regular doors will. The other option that you have, and this is an option, we can add self-closing hinges here, what we would call bomber hinges. So if you want your front door to close on its own because the kids leave the door open, the dog runs out, stuff like that, we can go ahead and put that in for you at a very minimal cost to be able to do that. Okay. That being said, the choices that we have here are going to be steel, and then we have fiberglass. Both choices come with a smooth product, or you can get a wood grain looking finish. And then, of course, we have different color choices that we can go ahead and get into as well. So in a nutshell, once we put everything together, what you're going to have is a much more secure and a much more better and insulated product. At the same time, too, all of our doors come with a lifetime warranty on them as well. Unless you get into our fiberglass product, then the painted surfaces have either a 20-year warranty or a 10-year warranty, depending on which one that we're looking at. But everything else on the product will come with a lifetime warranty. Overall, guys, that's pretty much what you have to do to pitch doors. It's not very hard. It's very easy, but you got to be a little theatrical about it if you want to pitch more, if you want to sell more of them. Because for the cost, we've got to be able to make it look like that there's an awful lot that we're doing. Okay. So who's buzzing in here? Ask your question, Kate.
Because we've had issues of like when you're entering it and how to measure for like to mitigate chargebacks. You know, measuring, going over the nominal versus the frame rabbit opening, the unit size, the rough opening, like and you know, making sure we go over what you're entering in Provia, you know, to mitigate chargebacks, because we've had issues in the past where, you know, we were saying, like I recently did one and I thought we didn't have to do capillary tubes, and like when you need to do that, and then like how to measure when you're entering it. So like we have this little Provia how to measure doors, you know, wood, steel, and like what that is. So that's been an issue, and a lot of people haven't pushed Provia because like they're, you know, when entering it, they don't, there's been issues. So yeah, if we could just go over that briefly. Sorry, I'm not saying it very clearly.
Okay. So basically the easiest way to measure doors, you guys are not going to like this, but this is your best bet. In other locations, I've required it to be this way. I won't do that now unless it continues to be a problem, which so far it has been. Okay. Your best bet when you measure the door, first and foremost, just open up the door, put a measuring tape on the slab itself. When you measure the slab itself and you go to measure and you go to enter, always check custom size. Just custom order the door every single time. Okay. That's what you should do. Now, does it drive the cost up? Yes, it does. The problem is measuring for doors to install doors is not as easy as it is for windows. It's just not. In theory, you would think it is. It is not. Okay. As a former measure guy, as a former installer, it is not. So because that opening, look, as a house settles, the bigger an opening gets, settling becomes worse for bigger openings than it is for smaller ones. The problem with doors is all doors are big openings. So as this house has settled over the years, it makes the opening retarded. It really does. It makes it goofy. The house is settled around the door, so the door's gotten weird itself. When we take the door out and go to put a new door in, more often than not, we're not going to be able to put in a stock standard door. More often than not, you're not going to be able to. So your best bet to eliminate chargebacks is going to be measure the door slab itself. Okay. What door slab itself means is open the door, put in measuring tape from here to here, from here to here. So if this puppy measures 36 by 80, that's a 36 by 80 custom door, and then select the custom option. Yes, it will drive the cost of the product up. But at the same time, too, it'll also eliminate pretty much all chargebacks.
And when
The
you say
only other-
custom, want width and height, both of them to be custom, because you have to select both, right? Not
Custom
just
width and
one.
height. That is correct. Custom width and custom height. More often than not, that's what you're going to have to put in. The only way to find out for sure if it can be cut, if it's custom or not, the only way to be sure, 100%, is if on the inside of the house there is door casing all the way around. You have to remove the door casing to find out how much space is in there. There's where your problem is right there, is there's no way to tell. The casing that goes around the door, gents, ladies and gents, the casing that goes around, that's not there for just decoration. That's there to hide the gap that you have from your drywall to your door frame. The casing goes on and it hides that mess. Sometimes the door frame and the drywall and all are right up against each other. Sometimes there's a 1 inch space. Sometimes there's 1.5 inches to 2 inches. There's no way to know until you actually pop the casing to be able to tell. And you can't pop casing on just one side, because this side might have 3/4 of an inch of space, whereas this side may only be a 1/16 of an inch. So the only way to truly tell is to pop casing off all the way around. However, if you have a drywall return, and especially if it bullnoses back around back to the door, then there's no way to tell, period, until they take the frame out at installation. So more often than not, your best bet is custom width, custom height. That's your best bet. That'll eliminate almost all of your chargebacks. But that's where the big problem comes in, is when a door has to sit there and be measured and it's just off a hair. That's going to throw it into a custom either width or height or both. So your best bet is to order for it. Everywhere I've ever been, I've always told the reps that they have to do it. They didn't have a choice. I would tell you guys here, that's your best bet, is to do that. That's your best bet.
So Terry, can I ask a question on that? So if
No.
you, please, okay. So do you, in the app for Provia, would you just write custom 36, or would you overestimate, like custom 36 and 1/4?
You know, more often than not, if you measure the slab, you can take the slab size and then put custom. So if you measure that slab and it happens to be 36 1/4, then I would put 36 1/4 custom size. If it's 36, I would put 36 custom width, 80 custom height. So the custom height charge, they can make the adjustment when the measure tech goes out, and then that cost will be there. Okay. Just because a stock size is 36 by 80 or 32 by 80, if it's a back door, the fact that you check the custom button, the extra charge goes in. So when the measure tech goes out to take the accurate measurements, then at that time there, you'll know if you're covered or not. This is typically the only time I would tell you to quote unquote possibly overcharge a customer. Okay. Because again, we have to make sure that we cover ourselves. But doors are much more difficult when it comes to measuring and installing. They're much more difficult because we just don't know how much room is there. So when the measure tech gets out and starts measuring literally down to the 1/16 of an inch, you know, when it comes to windows and doors like that, a 1/16 of an inch might as well be a mile. It might as well be. If you measure a 1/16 of an inch too big, that puppy's not going in at all. So your best bet is to custom order it so you're covered in your charge.
And then just to be clear, can you go over when you need capillary tubes? So this door, I thought you had mentioned our trainings doesn't need capillary, and then I got a charge back saying have to have capillary tubes. So I'm sharing all my dirty laundry.
Okay. That's fine, Kate. I got you. That's fine. Okay, so again, staying in the measuring part, your best bet is custom width, custom height. You're going to be covered.
Okay.
Pay attention to casing. Okay, because if it's got interior casing, that casing is going to have to be removed to take the door out. So we got to make sure that we're charging to put casing back. At the same time, too, on the outside, you're gonna need to pay attention to see if there's brick mold on the outside. Because if there is, then brick mold's gonna have to be ordered. If you don't order for the brick mold and the Measure Tech sees that we need it, you're gonna get another charge back there. Okay. Those are the major things to watch out for. Casing inside, brick mold outside, custom width, custom height.
And then Terry, the frame depth is a standard measurement typically, right? You wouldn't do any customization. You wouldn't do any customization with frame depth typically, right? That's just that's pretty standard on homes, right?
For the most part, it's going to be pretty standard. Usually you're looking at about 5 3/4 to 6.5 inches. Okay. Is what you're typically looking at. What I usually do when it comes to that is, again, there's a lot of things that go into a threshold. Okay. A lot of it has to do with whether they have tile on the inside or not. And then if so, how much is it now? Because a lot of times what will happen is you will butt back up against a tile that's there, and ours may want to come over the edge of this little step that's there. People catch their foot. So we have to kind of move this back a little bit, especially when you see that on our doors, it's sliding glass doors as well. So what I always do is I always check for the biggest one that we have. This way I'm charging for it. But if we can if they can scale down and they could use say 5.5 or 5 3/4, then that's okay too. But the Measure Tech will have to decide that when they see how the original one is looking, where the original one is sitting at. And do we have to cut back tile or not cut back the tile or anything like that? But typically your standard, you'll be able to get away with. I believe standard is what, 5 3/4, if I'm not mistaken, something like that.
Yeah.
I think that's pretty standard on the door. I think it's about 5 3/4.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. So I'm still having conversation here on the capillary tubes. So in my let me ask you this, Cody and Kate and Cam. What elevation do you guys sit at?
We're sea level. I mean, at my house it's 1,500, but we're sea level.
Yeah, we're sea level.
1,200 feet above sea level.
1188.
That's what here?
Yeah, we're actually
1,188 feet above sea level.
Oh, no, I got all.
Okay.
I'm not
So-
buying that for a second.
Look at that.
That being said,
We're at like
Okay.
45 to 5,000 a night.
Well, I know.
Okay.
West Hills. and
So
stuff.
does everybody here understand what capillary tubes and breather tubes are? Do you guys even know what that is?
I'd like to talk around it.
West
Yeah,
Hills.
sure. I mean, like, I kind of get it, but like,
Yeah, probably
I was told that
yeah.
it had to do with the fact that they were going through the Rockies and that the glass would break. And I call bullshit on that because we take glass over the Rockies.
5,000 is only the rate.
Okay. So let's talk about that. First off, my argument will always be, and I've made this argument before, and I'll make it again. The fact that they have to come over the Rockies is not my fucking problem. That's not my fucking problem. It's their problem to drive around the fucking Rockies. There's no way you're going to tell me that the only way to get to Portland is you got to go drive through the damn Rockies. That's bullshit, because I know there's more than one way to get there. That's bullshit. All right. That's not my problem. That's theirs. The problem with capillary tubes or breather tubes, things like that, basically what it is in a nutshell is, if this, let's just say, was the glass, let's just say that it is, a capillary tube would be basically a hole, a tube that's in between the two panes of glass. because that is there, you're never going to be able to put argon gas or anything like that in it because the damn thing will leak out. All right. What the capillary tube is there for is that when the window condensates, it allows the window to breathe so that the condensation doesn't stay there. It goes away. It's like a double pane window. If you had a double pane window with condensation in it, if you could take a really small, fine drill bit, and you can do it, and drill a couple little holes inside your glass, that would act as a capillary or a breather tube, and it would allow the window to breathe so that the condensation you were getting, you're not going to be able to get anymore. Okay. The challenge with breather tubes and capillary tubes is that the damn window doesn't get argon gas in it. If it doesn't have the argon gas in it, it's not there to be able to slow down any type of convection. Therefore, the damn thing's going to draw more heat. To sit there and say that the glass is going to break, that's a big line of bullshit right there. So whatever asshole told you that doesn't know what they're talking about, because that is a bullcrap lie. The glass will not break.
That is what the Provia customer service line told me. They said that it has more to do with expansion and contraction of it than it does condensation. I asked them, so if I do it without it, because it literally says it has a risk of breaking, customer service says that they'll try one more time with it, and if it breaks again, then they will not replace it for us.
So what they're saying is kind of sort of correct, kind of sort of. What breather tubes are for, look, when a double pane window gets above a certain altitude, the pressure on the altitude causes seals to break. It's not the glass that typically breaks. It's going to be the seal almost every time. Almost every time it's the seal. So by having breather tubes in it, the pressure of a higher elevation doesn't sit there and cause it to break. That's the reason why windows cannot be flown from one place to another. They have to be driven or they have to be put on a boat. So even if we ordered windows from Europe, that would have to be put on a boat and transferred here by boat. You can't fly them because once you get to a certain elevation, if the elevation puts pressure, the pressure sits there and causes the seals to break. It's not the glass. 8 out of 10 times, it's not going to be the glass. It's going to be the seal. That's what your breather tube is there for. Breather tube is there to allow for the movement there of the expanding and contracting. And it allows also that when moisture gets in, it'll breathe itself through so it dries everything out so you don't get that condensation. That's why they're called breather tubes, or again, you can call them capillary tubes. Now, some stuff you'll hear, some idiot will tell you, well, because you got argon gas in it, then what we can do is we can pinch them close because it's heavier. Okay, that's not true. Okay, that the damn gas is going to get out. The part that's not going to get out is if this is your glass and the breather tubes are up here, then you're going to have gas. Half of it may have gas depending on how it's sitting. Other than that, you can't keep it in there. So that I can tell you for a fact, I know for a fact that that's true. You shouldn't have to have breather tubes where you guys are at or capillary tubes. You shouldn't have to. The fact that they're going over the Rockies is not our problem. Our problem is we need the window a certain way they can drive around the damn thing. Now, if you lived in Cuba, New Mexico, where the elevation is 7,014 feet, different story. That elevation, you're going to need breather tubes for that. Provia uses a number of 48 or 4,900 feet. Okay, that's what they use. At 48 or 4,900 feet, they would prefer to be able to put capillary tubes in it. But if you're doing that, that's half of the United States. That's there for caution. Most windows are built to exceed that all the way up to 65 to 6,800 feet. So we can order them without that. That's your guy there. I'll see what I can't do to talk to Kim Mast and get around that. Because again, they can go around the damn Rockies. That's just the way it is. And if they want to charge us an extra $150 per unit to do it, then I'll pay the $150 a unit rather than putting capillary tubes, because that doesn't help the customer as much. Okay. So that was something that was brought up to me by Cody. I've already started talking to Kim Mast and them about it. That's also the reason why Cody and Kate and you guys, Dwayne Campbell calls me first now before he calls you guys to come out, because of the hell that I raised about the information he gave you guys. So
Clarify, Terry, Dwayne is the one who said that you can pinch off the capillary tubes and it comes with argon, but it was the Provia customer service line that said they will not continue to remake them at no cost to us if we order them with capillary tubes, and it's our choice to roll the dice on it.
Yeah, well, I'll certainly I'll talk to Kim about it because that's not what was happening from what I understand. So that's fine. I'm still working on that, Cody, just so you guys know. For right now, I would sit there and say put the capillary tubes just so we don't have a problem. But I am fighting them now, or trying to get whoever I can to listen, because I had the same problem when we were in Colorado and we got around that as well. So my office in Colorado, when I was with Dreamstyle doing that, we weren't putting capillary tubes, and we were in fucking Denver. And that's what elevation and what is there, 5180, something like that. So, you know, we weren't putting capillary tubes in any of the product we were ordering there, not even the damn windows. So I'm working on that, just so you know. I just don't have the same kind of relationship with Dwayne that I do with the other ones. And seeing how I got after Dwayne, I'm not real high on his priority list right now. So I have to find a way to make nice with that guy. So I'm working on it. All right. So for right now, just go ahead and add the capillary tubes for now, but I will get that pushed back. I can assure you I'll win that argument. So I just have to find a way to play nice with your guy, Cody. So I'm working on it. You know, I'm working on it.
Looks fine. A flower basket.
He does look drivable.
He does. Yeah.
Well, when he called me the other day, when I had you guys on, when I told you, hey, he's calling, he actually called and he said, hey, Terry, he says, this is Dwayne Campbell. I said, what's going on, dude? He says, well, I'm here in Portland, but you said I'm not allowed to go in the building without talking to you. I said, that would be correct. He goes, well, I'd really like to be able to sit there and do that. I said, why don't you call him first? And then you guys work things out. He goes, am I still not allowed to come in without you? I said, you're still not allowed unless I know about it. That is correct. So I got to find a way to make nice with that guy, Cody. I got to find a way.
He started talking about something. He goes, whoa, wait, I'm not supposed to train you guys on anything.
Yeah, I think he's scared of you. I think you could pretty much, yeah. I think you know way better than you do, Terry, is my kind of the moral of the story.
Oh, he knows.
He knows.
Yeah.
He knows.
Well, I think the part that got it is when I told him, what the fuck are you doing training somebody on shit that you don't know what the fuck you're talking about? I think that part there is pushed him upside down. I think it was that part. I'm not 100% sure, but I'm thinking that was it though. From there, I called. From there, I called Kim Mast. Yep. From there, I called Kim Mast, and literally, Cody, you remember who Kim Mast was, right? The real tall guy you saw me hanging out with.
He was super nice. Yeah, I really liked him. I chatted with him when we were at the plant tour.
So when I called up Kim, I said, hey, Kim, I said, let me ask you something. I said, Dwayne Campbell. I said, is that fucker one of your guys or somebody else's? He goes, uh-oh. He goes, what's wrong, Terry? I said, is he one of your guys or not? No, man, he's not one of mine. He belongs to whatever name he sat there and gave me. I said, okay. I said, well, look. I said, you tell that prick son of a bitch this, and this, and get whoever you got to get to, Kim. I said, or I'm going to blow that guy. He goes, on it. I'm called right away. He goes, I saw you do that once. Yeah, I'll take care of it. I got it, Terry. I'll have him call you. And that's when they called and told him, look, you're not allowed ever to come in. If he was on fire in the parking lot and he walks into the building and says, help me, I'm on fire, then you let him burn because he didn't call me and ask. He can burn for all I care to death. Grab a package of hot dogs, cook the weenies over his burning ass.
You're gonna put a solid wood door in between his kitchen and garage there, so he just burns down.
Close enough. So anyway, that's Provia, guys. It's really not hard. It really isn't. Do not shy away from it. Think about it this way. Every door lead is a window lead. Every door lead is a window lead. Every window lead is a door lead. You should be talking security. So,
Yep.
some numbers here. Here's a number for you, or statistic. Statistically speaking, nationwide, when somebody breaks into a house, statistically speaking, they kick the front door or the back door open. It's not windows that they're crawling into more often than not. It's usually just kicking open the front or the back door. ADT used to have a commercial on TV. If you probably YouTube it, you can probably find it sooner or later. But what it was a commercial that they had where it showed a jogger jogging down the sidewalk, wearing a pair of shorts. He had a hoodie on and all this, running down the street. And as he's running, he's casing the neighborhood. And there's this one where it shows the husband saying bye to his wife. He jumped in the car to leave. The guy stops, starts tying his shoe, waits for the car to leave. And as he's done tying his shoe, he gets up, he looks around, he takes his hoodie and he puts it over his head. He runs up to the front door and kicks the front door open. Door flies open, and then the commercial ends right there. That is actually typical more than sneaking in through a window or something like that. So that's a conversation we want to make sure that we have. Now, the pushback when you're selling doors and whatnot is going to be, well, I've lived here for X amount of years. I've never had anybody break into my house before. Yeah, well, okay, that's true of everybody until the first day they have somebody break into their house. So this is what we want to talk about, okay, is the security aspect of it. The other thing that we want to do is how do we sell them? Provia doors can be very, very difficult to sell if you sit there and are pitching the incorrect way. So here's the thing to remember. You do not, and I repeat, you do not go through the options of the doors with your customers. You have to stay away from that shit. Unless a customer is literally asking for some kind of decorative glass. And I mean, they better be asking for decorative glass. Go through it then. Beyond that, the hardest part of pitching doors is when you start pitching out of your iPad or you start pitching out of your catalog, if you will. All right. That is too many choices. The customers cannot make a decision, and more often than not, they will not make a decision. So you have to take the lead on this and talk them through it. For example, something along these lines here. Mr. Blaylock, looking at your door here. All right, let me ask you something. Right now, you don't have any glass in it at all. Do you want sun to come through? Do you want sunlight or no light? What do you want?
Some sunlight for sure.
Okay, do you want the light to come from the top third or half of the door?
I mean, probably either would be good, I guess. Probably maybe not just the top. My wife's real short, so maybe a little bit lower.
Okay, so the glass that you want in, do you want that door to be the glass to be a square or more on the rectangle side, or would you prefer some sort of an oval shape or arc shape to it?
I think rectangle. Yeah, there's not a lot of curves on the house. It's kind of modern, so I don't think the curved one would look good.
And you said that you want your wife to be able to see through it, so you want to make sure the glass is clear. Is that correct?
Yeah, I mean, I don't know, maybe not totally clear, but at least for her to be able to kind of see what's going on out there a little bit, I guess. Get some kind of a little bit of that.
Like on the shadow side of things, maybe.
Yeah, like I don't know, it's awkward when I'm walking around, in my underwear and somebody comes up to the front door and they can just see right through it, but it'd be nice to be able to kind of like see a little bit, maybe see if somebody's out there.
Gotcha. Also, I noticed that your door right now is a smooth door. Do you want it to be smooth? Do you want it to have some kind of a wood grain type of finish to it? And do you want panels or no panels? What do you think?
I don't think I want the wood grain. We had a lot of wood on the house. We're trying to get rid of that look. As far as the panels, I'm not sure. Like I'm kind of open to that, but definitely no wood grain.
Okay. I also see that the color that you have, do you want to maintain the same color, or do you want something different, but maintaining the same color, make sure the color scheme and everything is still the same? Which way would you go here?
We want some, like, definitely a little bit more pop of color and some contrast on the outside of the house.
So on the outside, when you say pop, what kind of pop are we looking for? Blue, red, pink, purple? What do you think?
Can we just do it like, Neapolitan ice cream and just do it striped? No, I'm just
Yeah,
joking. How about like a red?
You want red, like a dark red or a light red?
Uh-oh, you froze for a second. What'd you say?
You said red, is that correct?
Yeah, I think red would be great.
Okay, you want like a fire engine red or something on the lighter side?
Maybe more of like not red, maybe more of like a brick red kind of look. You got something like that?
Got you. Okay, so here's what that door would look like. And then you sit there and you show the door. But you build everything yourself and then put it in front of them. This is what it's going to look like. Now you said with panels, this is what it would look like with the 2 panels that we could do. So which one do you think's best for you? If you do that way, you will sell way more doors. Way more doors. The challenge with doors and what gets everybody in trouble is they try to pitch out of their iPad and give all these options, and a customer cannot make a decision at all. Okay.
Oh yeah. I wish I'd known that structure like when we first started doing this, because I had so many people where they build like 2 or 3 different doors and they're like, I just can't make up my mind. I need to sleep on this for a while. You know, and sometimes they ended up selling, a lot of times they didn't.
The last store that I was at, we sold 61 Provia doors for the year. The top sales rep was 16. The following year when I got there, the only thing I changed is what you just heard me do right here. That's it. And the following year, we sold 388 doors. You cannot give the customer those type of choices. They will not be able to make a decision. They just won't. Your best bet is to be suggestive all the way through it. You know, if they have panels, I notice you have panels. You want to keep that same kind of look, or would you prefer to sit there and have one bigger panel or none at all? Which one? I prefer none at all. Cool. Glass, you want light. Top third or half? Half. Do you want it to be more of a rectangle, or do you want some type of an oval shape or arch shape to it? What do you want? You know, are you looking for real decorative glass? Okay. Or do you want just something basically standard? Because you start getting into decorative stuff, this stuff gets way left-handed price-wise. Which way would you prefer to go? Yeah, I don't want to go price. I don't want to get left-handed. Cool. What about your color? I want blue on the outside. Do you want some sort of a dark blue or a light blue, like a navy blue or some kind of a powder blue? Which one? Yeah, I'd prefer something darker. What about the inside? Keep the same color to match this more or less? Yeah, I want to do that. Here's what it looks like. And then you go ahead and you show the door. That is your best way right there. You'll sell way more doors that way. And it'll be a lot quicker to get through. The only time I start getting into anything weird is if a customer literally asks for decorative glass. Then that's a little different because there's a lot of decorations to it. And then those I hate. So I typically try to get myself out of it. When somebody says decorative glass, I like something real decorative. Okay, keep in mind that when you start getting into decorative glass, this will literally drive the snot out of the cost. So as long as we don't care about that, hey, all good. I can go over. I got a bunch of choices. As soon as they hear that, more often than not, well, holy cow, I don't want to sit there and spend a lot of dough for it. Okay, then we probably need to stay away from that part. So based on everything you've shared with me, here's what that door looks like now. That is your best bet. Your best bet is to do that. You'll find you'll sell way more doors that way. Way more. Okay. Everything you've just heard me do is how I sit there and pitch the door and how I price the door. But I do not go through the iPad and let them see anything. Yep.
Barry,
Yeah.
can I ask? So my problem
No.
with that,
I
is
just
that-
said no.
my problem with that, when I'm in the home, usually I get a lot of, I don't know what I want. So always I get that. It's like, if I'm trying to build a door, I have been going towards an option that I show them more the photos on the Provia app. And from there, once they pick something I can design myself based on the photo. But because it never goes like, they never know.
Well, you have to be suggestive. This still works the same way. So right now, Miss Ari, what you're telling me is you want to replace the door, you think you want to replace the door, whatever it may be, but you have no idea what kind of door you want to put in. Is that what you're telling me?
Yes.
Okay. Well, let's start this. Right now, you don't have any sunlight coming through this door at all. There's no glass of any kind. So the question on the table is not whether you want glass or not. The question is do we want to light this area up at all? Or do you want to keep it the way that it is? Which way are you would make you happier?
I want some light, yeah.
Okay. Now that we know that we want light, what we have to figure out now is how much light. So do we want as much light because we're going to do half glass in it? Or do we not really don't want that much? So we just want to put and make it so you have light coming in the top third. Which one do you think?
The top third.
The top third?
Yeah.
Okay. Let me ask you this. On that top third, if you think that's going to be enough light, let's consider the half glass for a quick second. You know, the cool thing about the half glass, you get more light. The drawback to it though, is people will be able to kind of sort of see in, there'll be shadow, if you will. Do you really want anybody to see that? Or no?
No, I don't want it.
Okay, then the top third is going to be your best choice. So that's a good call on your part. So now that we know that, the other part we have to figure out here is right now your door is smooth. Now, depending on who you are, me personally, I'm more of a smooth fan because that keeps the product from being very busy. Okay. So I don't want it to be busy myself. So do you want something that's going to be a little more on the busier side than you have now? Or do you want to keep it as simple as you have right here? You tell me, and then I can figure out how busy it is. So what would you like to do?
I want something that's a little more busy. I don't like
A
it
little
so
more
much.
busy. Okay, awesome. I can figure that's fine. I can go ahead and work that out for you. Now the color scheme that we have to look at here is right now your door is, purple with yellow polka dots. And you got purple with yellow polka dots everywhere, right? So do we want to keep the same color scheme on the inside? Or do you want to go ahead and change that up?
I want probably white on the inside, on the interior.
You want white. Do you want more like a bright white or more like an eggshell white or something along those lines?
A bright white.
Like a bright white. Okay, on the outside, are we going to sit there and go with a different kind of color? What kind of color are you looking for outside?
That I don't know. What colors, what options do I have?
Well, let's forget about the options for a quick second and let's look at it in a different way, right? Right now, the way your house is painted, you know what? Tell you what, let's walk outside and take a look at this real quick. What we want to make sure that we do, because right now, right, color options don't really matter. If we pick out a color that we like that doesn't match the house, that's going to look a tad bit weird, or that's going to cause you to have to paint the entire house. So let's step outside and let's take a look at what you have now. How's that? Let's do that.
Okay.
Great.
Sure.
So we're out here. I see that you've got black trim. The house is purple with green lightning bolts. So that being said, looking at this, do we want to sit there and do that? Or would you like more of like the black like you have on your trim? What do you think? I mean, you tell me.
I want to keep the purple pattern that I have going on. What kind of shades of purple do you have?
Well, we got all kind of shades. Are you looking for a light or a dark purple?
Something, I would say darker.
Something on the darker side, but not like midnight purple, right? You don't want it that dark, correct?
No.
Awesome. Let me go ahead and show you what that looked like. I just built this here for you. Check this out. This is everything that you're asking for. I made it a little more busier. I put 2 panels here at the bottom. They're kind of on the longer side, as opposed to one great big one in the middle. So what do you think of this? That's what you have to do, Ari. Just walk them through it. You just got to walk them through it. Okay.
Yeah,
As soon as they tell, well, I don't really know. Okay, let's find out. Start with light. That's the easiest one. If they already have glass there. Okay, I noticed that you have glass in your door now. Do we want to keep the same amount of light coming through? Or do we want to sit there and reduce the light or eliminate it altogether? What do you think? Yeah, I don't like it. It's so bright. Cool. But you want some light, right? Yeah, I do. So we can do the top third then. What are my choices? Top third. There is nothing else. So you got to do the top third. Now, the question is what type of shape do we want? Are we looking for some type of an oval shape, some kind of an arch shape, or more of a rectangular shape? What do you want? Well, I like this. Okay, cool. I got that for you. And then just start working your way through it. Okay. Even if they tell you they don't know, you just have to ask the right questions. That's all.
Yeah.
I sold the most doors I've ever sold in December doing this. This really works. I'm all about this.
Yeah, this-
approach. This
Thi-
works.
This is a better way, guys. I'm telling you right now, this is a better way. But walk them through it and do it that way, you'll be fine. When I walk a customer through, I always start with light. And if they want light, top or half. Is there an option of full? Yes, there is. But I don't mention full unless they do. If I say, look, you want half or do you want the top third? Well, is there a full option? There is a full option, yes. So obviously that option is what you're looking for. Yes, okay. And then I just keep moving from there. But you want to give as few options as possible. When you start getting in the color, again, be suggestive. Do you want to maintain the same color you have to keep the color scheme the same? Or do you want it to be different? Yeah, I want it to be different. Define different. Are we looking for a lighter color or a darker color? I'm looking for a lighter one. Cool. Define light. Well, like maybe a light brown. Gotcha. A light colored brown. Wood grain finish, non-wood grain finish. And just walk them through a little at a time. And as long as you keep the choices very tiny, they'll be able to make decisions. But you start flipping around, well, look, these are all the color blues I have. Yeah, good luck on that. You're going to run into a problem there more often than not. You're not going to be able to sell doors. They're not going to be able to make a decision. Too many choices. Too many choices.
I have a question.
That, yes.
As far as like the price point that Provia comes in at for us, what's like an apples to apples comparison? I don't really know a whole lot about the cost of entry doors.
Well, so here's the thing about Provia. Provia is going to be one of the more expensive doors out there, period. And they're supposed to be. They literally are the king dingling of doors. They are it as far as overall. Their beauty is not going to be as nice as a wood door, but windows aren't as nice as wood either. So price wise, when you ask Provia, why are you guys so expensive? Provia's answer every single time will be expensive compared to what? Define expensive. So price wise, it's going to be on the higher side of things is Provia. Now, what I can tell you, and I was actually talking to Cody about this yesterday, I'm going to be on a phone call next week. I think it's Monday, probably for about 3 or 4 hours with Heather and with Keith Schlabach from Provia. We're going to go back over the door pricing. We're going to go back over the window pricing and all, because by Apex standards, some of the cost on this stuff is over the top by Apex standards, which is causing us to not want to pitch certain things. All right. So we're going to go back and go through the repricing of everything. Heather's problem is she has not been taught how to go through Provia, and she doesn't realize the adjustments she can actually make that she can control. So, and I found that out after an 1.5-hour conversation with her the day before yesterday. So some of these prices are getting ready to come down for you. But that being said, though, Provia typically, though, is going to be on the higher side of things by as usually 25 to 40%, 25 to 40, 35%, whatever, in that area there, more than their nearest competitor. Okay. Their competitors would be Larson. Their competitors would be Thermo-Tru. Their competitors would be Masonite. They're going to be on the higher side of things when it comes to fiberglass and steel. If that helps, Michelle.
It does. Thank you.
You're welcome. Okay. Again, what you're paying for with Provia is 100% quality, security, and warranty. That is what you're paying for. And the fact that they can custom build doors a certain way when a lot of companies out there cannot. There are a lot of companies that cannot custom build doors. A lot. And Provia can. So there's my talk with you guys on Provia. That's how I pitch it. But when it comes to building the door, then that's also how I do it. I just never share the iPad with them until after I've built it for them, And then when I build it, I show the inside and the outside look when you could do that side by side comparison and let them use that. So you do know too that you can, they also have a visualizer on their app, right?
That's really
Yeah,
cool.
that's-
Every time you'll love that.
I have one
Do-
more question too for like, should we be encouraging with this streamlined approach that you're talking about where it's 10 minutes of talking essentially and build it for based suggestion? Should we try and bundle these into the same appointment to sell on the same day as the SEO?
Absolutely, for sure.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, I mean, so when I tell you guys that we need to inspect everything, that's everything. You should be inspecting all the doors, all the windows, everything. I mean, we want to sell as much as we can possibly sit there and sell. Okay. As you get more proficient with it, you'll also learn too how to start hiding things and use windows to sell more doors or use doors to sell more windows. Okay. Because you'll learn to jump in and out of that and how to sit there and put value in certain places. I mean, look, you may sit there and price up a job, for example, at a 50% margin, and you got 50% on the window and the door. Well, customer says, look, this is a little too much. Well, what you could go ahead and do is you can go ahead and pull the door out because you know that you have put so much margin in it. You can show the door at say $7,000 and say, hey, look, check this out. Let me help you here. Let's take the door out for $7,000 right now. Look, if you wait at least 30 days after the date of installation, if you just do that, if you want to come back and do this door, because you did the windows, I can get you a previous customer's price on this door. And instead of the door costing you $7,000 like it's going to right now, you can actually get this door for like $5,883 if we go ahead and wait till later. This way you can make it look, you can make the project cheaper to fit in their budget, but at the same time, make it look like you're trying to sit there and do them a solid and all this other stuff. There's a lot of crap you can do once you start learning to sell windows and doors together. There's a lot of shit you can do. There's a lot of crap I can sit there and show you. A lot. There's a lot
lot.
of stuff.
And like I don't know if we've talked about this story, but I always talk about like, you know, the ROI, like front doors always have like the top ROI. And anytime I go into like a real estate agent's home, like I always kind of like fact check. And I'm like, oh, what are the top things they look for and they sell? And they're always like, at your front door, windows, foundation, roof. Those are always the top four. And they're like, anytime like I have selling a crappy home, I always tell the homeowner, just paint the door, switch out the hardware. It's what everybody notices. It gets a ton of abuse. It's super customizable. So I like talk about front doors for if you're selling, for return on your investment. And it's the first thing people notice, and it's the number one break-in spot. So that's I don't know. Yeah. That's helped me.
Yeah, I mean, again, all those things you can go ahead and do. I mean, it's doors, truth be told, are just it's easier to sell too. It's just easier to sell than a window is. It's easier. The other thing that you can go ahead and do too is look, so you're trying to put a deal together and you've got, I don't know, 5 windows and a door. They just can't swing all of it. Well, a lot of times, hey, look, to go ahead and get you started, let's get the front door taken care of, right? Let's at least start there. And then what we'll do is we'll start working on the windows. The great thing is if you start there in this case here, you can go ahead and come back as a previous customer. And as a previous customer, you go ahead and get a little discount on this, which will sit there and save you a little more money in the long run. But to at least get you started, here's what we'll go ahead and do. Shit, you can do a door for, $6,000. And even on a $6,000 entry door, you're looking at a payment less than $60.
Mhm.
On a $5,000 door, you're looking at a payment of less than 50. At
And-
least get them started, folks. This is how I can at least get you started.
And for newbies, when they apply for financing, it tells them that they're like approved up to 60K. So the windows are 35. So then when you're, showing them everything, I like to show them a number, oh, you guys did get approved if you add on the front door. And then for people that are new and don't know like the visualizer, it's like in Provia, if you go down to the little camera, when you're building the door, that's where you can take a photo of it and then show the homeowner, and that gets them super excited. Like it'll show them, I mean, this is a bad example, but so it's like, you you go outside and take a photo, and you can do it from the inside and the outside. And they're like, oh my God, that looks so much better. Yeah, let's do it. And you're like, wow, you just bought a 12K door. That was like the easiest.
Yeah, you can
Yeah.
use the visualizer for Provia, guys. If you're not familiar with it, you can use a visualizer. So that can help as well. But anyway, any questions about Provia at all? Anything?
Like add-on, people get.
What up, Norm?
Terry, when you sell that fire rated door, most of them require a placard on that door slab that says it's fire rated for 60 minutes. Does that certification come with it?
In all honesty, I can't remember, sir, because I can't remember looking at one out there. I can tell you now that with Provia, I believe all of their fire rated doors start at 60 minutes or 90 minutes, one of the two. That used to be 45, but that number has now been moved. But I want to say, if I was guessing, and this is a guess, I think it actually starts at 90.
Okay.
And if it's going to be
I've
a
got a
fire
couple-
rated door, then I have to say there's probably going to be a tag on it, but that's what I would say.
Okay, I've got a couple remodel guys that I sell doors to, and I was excited to call and tell them that I could get fire rated doors. And one of them asked me, well, just make sure it has that placard, because he's got to get an inspector every time. He's like, as long as it's got a placard, we're good. So
Yeah,
can
I would
find out
imagine
for me.
there's. I would imagine there's going to be. I'll ask Keith when he comes by today. I'll ask him. So I got Keith coming by later this afternoon.
This might be a difficult
Thank
question, the states are gonna vary and stuff, but on the fire rating, like that would be an excellent, like, safety thing. Are there home developments that are built with an interior garage door that might not be fire rated, that could be a safety hazard?
No, for the most part, I mean, especially anything that's newer, all of them are going to be fire rated now. I mean, it's just the way that it is. You'd have to get into some pretty old houses where you'll see wood frames there, but most everything is all fire rated now when it comes to that. Because again, most of those doors go from the kitchen into the garage.
I'm gonna really have to start inspecting.
I could see that being more the people who like that door has an issue or they don't like it, maybe they get a bid or something, like, well, fuck that, I'm just gonna go to Home Depot and buy a solid core door and put it in myself. Save money.
Sketch, don't do that.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to get some people that'll tell you, well, you know what? I don't really need everything done. I just want the door slab. Just so you know, we will never replace a door slab by itself, ever. Ever. At least we won't do it on my watch at all. It's a horrible way to install, and it almost never, ever, ever works. Almost never.
Yeah, I see it.
Questions? What else about that? All right, let's do this. Let's take 10 minutes real quick. I've got 10:05. Let's go to 10:15. Who the hell is maybe Nora? What?
Hey,
Hey, hey, Cody. Cody.
It looks like way like in the 80s.
Same.
Yeah, get closer to here. Let me show you something.
Arson's just.
So yesterday, you know what? I'll just call you right now. I'm sorry, I gotta ask you something.
Where do you? They're not sure this with the door. What is this like?
Bolts and
their warranties.
to the temperature of the battery.
So unnecessary.
Oh, there's plenty of.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
I got a random, what do you call it? That's number I don't recognize. And
Ice management at home.
Crazy. There's no And I'm like, they're so nice, they're like such beautiful doors.
Yeah, they're really nice. I just felt like
And
I was.
there's maintenance, which is nice. Wood doors are not in this environment, rotting quickly.
If I'm running, I get home with the doors, they're like, well, can you just make one that looks exactly like this? Always want to do this either. I'm like, no, we can't make it exactly like that, but you know
Makes
what?
it closer.
And I don't really know where to go. It's happened to me like 6 times. And they're always
Me
like,
neither, never had that.
old, like 50s, like, kind of like,
But what is the question that you were asking, like
Yeah,
when you
yeah.
get there?
when I get
How,
there.
yeah, how
Yeah,
do you,
how
how
do
do
they-
that?
I basically just, when I'm doing the measure and then I'll say, what do I say?
What you're looking for?
No, if they ask me like, oh, would you guys do front doors? And I'm like, oh yeah, and then I tell them about Provia and I have similar morals. And then I say, oh, have you thought about, you know, what it was like a style that you've been looking for?
But that's probably the question then, that you're, I mean, Walter's like, yeah, if you want, I can show you a couple of, and then before they ask what they like,
Yeah, and
because they're gonna fall in love with something that we have.
and a lot of, I guess I've never had an issue even really matching it, like if they, I have it before,
Yeah.
it's similar.
Because there's so
I
many
always
options.
say like, yeah, it's of course, you know, you don't have the maintenance, you don't have to wood, but it's gonna be a similar style, so it looks very similar, because we do those old fashioned doors. You know, that's what, but I try to like highlight too, like things that they could have, but it's a very similar, it's a modern version take on it.
Am I in
for all-
charge of that account now?
You know, so I'll say, oh, that's.
It used to be Adam Layton.
They like that half circle, that little, that is the half. Semicircle.
Sometimes it's like a little, I'll just show you. It's like- And then I've even texted Wayne and been like, hey, is there anything you can do?
Yeah. Sorry, where did you want me to look on that?
Crawling all over, you know, Sophie's. So like, we were just like, let's look at it. You know, it was like, it starts getting.
Yeah, but I just remember you kind of take it out again. There's just like, oh, but-
Well, and then like, I mean, most of last week, all I did was raw. Like I had meat,
anything
so,
heavy, substantial.
yeah. So it's like I'm not getting, like, that's why I got like these protein drinks and stuff. But like
A little
really,
easier to get down.
yeah, so I had some tofu last night. And then other than that, just the eggs.
Okay, yeah. That's a good source, but yeah, again, yeah, like nothing like big, like hearty, nothing hearty. Oh, shit.
So like.
And then the other question that I have that kind of sounds silly,
Yeah, you're not getting.
when you're talking about a door being the most secure door there ever was, I understand that it's gonna be this and these things, right? But when you start putting pieces of glass in it, does not compromise the security of it?
I mean, it's no different than having a window glass, you know what I mean, like realistically, if they're gonna break the glass to get into the house, they're not gonna break the back glass. So if they want something that's super secure
So that would be
I
harder to, way harder to break than.
to get into the window, so if their security is a big deal, then I would immediately be like, okay, well then what we don't wanna do is we don't wanna do a full glass pane. Let's do something like this, you know, the reality of it is, like, again, they're not gonna try to break this glass, if there's a
They're gonna go
window right
window.
there, so they're gonna break that.
Yeah.
But most people don't do that, most people just try to kick in the door, they look for a window or something. Most crimes are crimes of opportunity anyway, so generally, if you're keeping all your doors and everything shut, like, most people aren't gonna break in, but statistically, if they do, the number one way they're gonna do is they're gonna kick in the door. You know, and they're not gonna sit there and kick it, and kick it, and kick it, and kick it. So by having the things like that wraparound striker plate, having the quality of the door, you know, the strength of it is gonna make it so they might come up and they might give it a kick or two, and they're like, fuck that, like,
So
on
or
to the
like
next one.
this, you're gonna go like this or two, and you're like kicking it through it.
Yeah, exactly, same thing.
So is this frame right here like brick mold?
This is the interior casing. Brick mold would be what would be on the outside of it. But the same with the casing, you can get it attached or unattached. And I actually had to flex these out when they came in, they were bent like way back. Just from the way that they're trying to attach
Because
it.
brick mold is literally so bad.
No, it's brick mold is not brick
It
at all.
doesn't look like brick.
Yeah, brick mold is,
I know, like, obviously, you only need it if you have bricks on your own.
this is. It's like a block trim, like it's on the outside of most doors, you'll see. Generally, it's for doors, like sometimes windows will have it, here's just not a good example. So, but yeah, it's this type of trim that's on the outside. Instead of being like a wide flat piece, you can see how flat this is and wide it is, it's pretty square, actually.
And so do you add it to everything?
Yeah, if we're replacing it, brick mold, I never say go for it, it doesn't have brick mold outside. And generally, I don't know if I've ever seen one that has the drywall wraps in Portland that he was talking about, if they do that in other places, but on the inside, there's always trim, there's always casing, so every door that I do gets casing and brick mold. Mounted, out of here, warehouse.
Whatever. So funny story, about, yes, even though I've seen the other door kits and we've talked about it, here and there. I literally just thought that they were wood doors, because they're Amish made doors.
Well, it's funny, because when I pictured the
Yeah.
factory, I was picturing them like making them by hand, even if they were
Yeah,
like,
I
would
even if
assume
they're
they were
fiberglass, I was still thinking of them like making it and doing it by hand. That is not it, like, that was what was the biggest trip of going to the factory is they have, I mean, I wish I could take photos and videos, so they wouldn't let us do it, but that is some of the most advanced robotics that I've ever seen in person. Like, they actually have a new machine that they bought, that wasn't that old, that they had custom built by a European company, can't remember. It was like an it was like $800,000 ship the thing, if I remember correctly. It is like 4 stories tall. It is this massive thing where it's all computerized. Things work, you grab pieces, flip them around and do all this shit. It's pretty cool. There's a lot of videos online that you can't see that I drove the factory. So it was a trip because when we were driving in there, like 70% of the things on the road are not cars. They are horse-drawn carriage, like buggies with, with Amish people on it. I have a video of that. And then you're driving through and you see like all the little houses and stuff, and like the women are outside like washing the clothes on a washboard kind of thing, And then we get to the factory, and they're legit Amish people with their handmade clothes and chin beards and all like everything that is stereotyped that you think of an Amish. And then they're sitting behind like a triple widescreen monitor operating these advanced robotics. And I was like, it's a trip. I was like, I think Grandpa Jebediah is rolling over at his fucking grave right now.
Yeah.
So that was very interesting. So what I always say, so Provia is an Amish-based company, and they have taken all of the traditional Amish building standards, which, as everybody knows, is some of the best like building standards out there, and they've translated that into the doors that they've done. They've also leveraged some advanced robotics. So I don't make a joke. So I'm sure Grandma Jebediah is probably a little uneasy about it, with what they've done by combining like old school handcrafted methods with brand new cutting edge technology is the reason that the doors are so worth it. You're like, damn, that sounds great.
Yeah, makes sense.
It still doesn't make sense that they have advanced robotics like right around.
And then they wouldn't let us
It's
take
like
photos
jumbo
in there at all, because
shrimp.
they're like, oh yeah, the Amish don't want photos of them taken and stuff, so it was really interesting.
Yeah, of them being sacrilegious.
It's like, we're
Yeah.
so living in the dark ages, except for our door factory. Then we're light years ahead of everyone else.
All right, guys,
Yeah, it's interesting.
are we ready?
I don't know, let me go get the peoples.
Okay, let's get the peoples.
We're not doing it right. So let's not focus on it.
When I had that myself, so I was like, use my.
Go ahead.
Anytime I get it, so fast.
No, I don't like it.
The big one is it's like
The juice master.
Oh, yeah, probably doubles the burn.
Double.
We'll see. Just a pick one.
Okay, so we've got everybody crews back in. Let's see, Marky Mark, I don't see you, brother. Are you there? Up there's Marky Mark.
I'm here, but I'll be right back. 1 minute.
There's Marky Mark. Now, if he starts running around in his underwear, I'm gonna be tripping.
It's Bruce Lee.
Bruce Lee. Did you tell everybody, Cody, at your guys' place?
I think so. We were on a call one day and it randomly came up somehow. I can't remember. I think it was Kate mentioned her middle name was Lee. And I was like, what? No way. My middle name is Lee. And then Terry goes, no, it's not. And I was like, it sure as fuck is. And I show him my ID and he goes, hold up a second. He pulls out his ID and his middle name is Lee. And then Cam goes, yeah, mine is too. And we were like, yeah, I'm right, you're fucking lying, you just don't wanna be left out. He pulls out his ID and it's Lee too. So out of the 4 out of the 5 people on there, his middle name is legitimately Lee. We were like, oh, Mark, guess you can't be part of MSP anymore. And then he was like, well, at the last place that I worked, he goes, I had a nickname and it was Blues Lee, right? Blues Lee or Blues Ree? I can't remember.
Blues Reed.
Something like that.
Those three, yeah.
Blue 3. So I thought that's weird as all get out. That 4 out of us 5 managers all have the middle name Lee. That is so weird. That is weird. So, Mark, unfortunately, you're not a complete part of the Cool Kids Club, but we'll accept Bruce Lee.
But I still
We'll
kick
accept
ass.
Bruce Lee. Oh, why?
You're not completely one of us.
Yeah, Bruce Lee. Oh, I used a Bruce Lee. You eat teriyaki lobster and snow peas. Maybe some fried lice. Okay, so let's get into this here real quick. I want to cover this real fast. So today, as you guys all know, you're all going to be on the quote unquote training call with Atlanta. So let me explain to you how this is. All right. Atlanta, of course, as we know, is the top office within Apex, period. Okay, they are the number 1 office. They do about 1.1 to 1.3 million dollars a month is what they do. They roughly have 7 JSPs and they roughly have 7 seniors. About 60% of their business they get from referrals, and a large part of these referrals come from Nextdoor. When GDI bought Atlanta literally a couple months ago, one of the things that the GDI wanted was for all of the other Apex owned stores is to start work with Atlanta, best practices, things like that. Okay. So the Western region, I have been the last to jump in this to be a part of it, if you will. Part of my hesitation is for 2 things. Number 1 is because they had a lot of the Eastern offices going on at the time. I just didn't want to pile on. And the other challenge is they also know that our door approach is a little bit different than what their door approach is. Okay. What you're going to hear today is their door approach, and they are real big on pitching the 58.5%. and more of the Apex way. Okay. I am not an Apex person when it comes to that. So what I would sit there and tell you is we take the nuggets out of it that we can sit there and take. What we don't want to do is get in, but we don't do that here. Okay. They know that. But in order for me to sit there and play nice with everybody else and play in this sandbox, I've got everybody in this because we're all trying to play nice. Okay. We take the best that they have to offer, whatever we deem that to be, and we throw away the rest. All right. So this is just a matter here of they're going to go through how they do it. This is what they do, how they say things. Again, some of this you're going to hear is a lot of what we do now. Some of it's not. Take that the way that it is, and we move on. Okay. Unfortunately, it sucks. And I sent out a big apology email a little while ago. I have 2 interviews that I have to do, one at 1 o'clock and one at 2 o'clock. So I have requested this to be recorded so I can at least hear it. But I'm going to try to chime in and get the interviews out as quick as I can. But I've got to be able to get the interviews in. So soon as I'm done with my first one, I'll jump in on that thing. But then I'll have to get back out again, by 2 o'clock. So I won't quite be there. Not a good look, to be honest with you. So I made sure to let the Atlanta guys know, along with David and Matt Duncan as well. But it is what it is. I wish I could be in it because I wanted to be able to hear everything as well, even though I'm pretty much I already know what they're going to do and say. So again, let's take all this stuff with a grain of salt. All right. We can most certainly talk about it afterwards as a group tomorrow. We can certainly do that for sure. My promise to you guys have always been that if you have input or an idea, that I certainly want to hear your input and I certainly want your idea, because it's not one of those things that it's my way or the highway things. I feel very strongly about certain stuff, but if there's things that you feel strongly against what we're doing, whether it's the door pitch or in the in-home pitch, I certainly want to hear it too. Okay. This is not one of these things. I don't want you guys to ever be able to speak your mind. I want you guys to be able to speak your mind always. You're allowed to think. You're allowed to sit there and speak your mind without having to worry that there's going to be a problem. We just have to make sure that when we speak our mind, we're doing it the right way. That's all. That's all. Okay. So I just want to touch on that, but that's what's going to happen a little later on in about 2.5 hours from now is going to be that. Okay. So that being said, you just go along with what's going on. Let's not try to engage a lot here and do the whole, I don't do this, we don't do that yet. Let's not get into that. They already know, I assure you of that. My suspicion is Trevor, and then we'll probably mention that. That's what my suspicion will be. I know you guys aren't doing this, but here's what we do. Then we'll go ahead and we'll take that. And like I said, they're going to have some nuggets in there, and they're going to be able to say some things that you guys are going to be able to run with and go, you know what, I like that. So we can talk about that tomorrow once we get back on here as well. So what I want to get back to though is yesterday's business.
Before you get back in that question, you do want all the JSPs to be on there as well though, right?
Juniors and seniors, yes, unless the seniors have something to run.
Okay.
Yeah, if the seniors have an appointment, then junior and seniors need to be in there. Okay. So Norm, you said you were going to have a question. Talk to me about that question and know that you're on mute.
Yeah, so last night I thought I had a lay down, and one of the last things that they said to me is that they had 2 other window guys coming. And I asked the question at the beginning, but I didn't ask it well enough. I should have drilled down more. I realized my mistake there. But when I started telling him, well, here, let me help you out on shopping, and I was, walking him through the shopping process and who was coming. And I told him one of them was Champion, the other one is Advantage Windows. And I know them well because I've been selling against them for a while now. He said, Norm, I don't doubt what you're saying isn't true, and I'm sure we're going to end up buying from you, but I want to hear it from their mouth. And I must have looked like deer in the headlights because I did not have a rebuttal. I went, I understand that. I almost went Tommy Boy and said, well, you get a good look at a T-bone by shoving your head up a cow's butt, but I'd rather take the word of the butcher, but whatever.
Okay, so here's what I would sit there and do here. First off, let's do this. So number one, how many windows were you pitching?
23.
Okay. What time was your appointment for?
4 o'clock.
What time did you get there?
I was there right at 4. I knocked on their door at 4 o'clock. But I was outside their house for 10 minutes up the street.
Okay. What time did you leave?
6:15, 6:20.
Okay, so just so you guys know, TOA is time of arrival. TOD would be time of departure. Total time in the house, 2 hours, 15 minutes. Okay, so before I say something here, keep in mind what we're going to do here, and we'll do a few of these as a group off and on as time goes by, so we can all help each other out here. Okay, so I'll start with one person first. Keep in mind what some of the stuff that comes out, Norm, some delivery of some people may not always be the best. My delivery's not always the best. So kind of take some of this with a grain of salt, okay, brother?
Sure, absolutely.
All right. So, who wants to take a shot at this so far based on what we have now? Who wants to go first? Cody, Kate, Mark, who wants to go first? Cam, which one of you?
I go.
It's not long enough.
Do what?
It's not long enough. Oh, sorry.
Okay. Cody, what do you say here?
Shortcutted for sure.
Right. So my first thing that I would sit there and tell you, Norm, part of the challenge here is right here, brother. You shortcutted. You're in the house 2 hours, 15 minutes. Okay. So let's think about this for a second. Even if it only took you 1 minute per window to inspect windows, even if it only took you 1 minute only, just 1 minute, your 1 minute would put you at, for round numbers, we'll say 25 minutes. From there, we've got to be able to measure and we've got to be able to build. With you being a little new with our stuff that we have, I have to assume it took you a bare minimum of 2 minutes per window to build and put all that stuff together. So if we look at it that way, 2 minutes would put you at 46 minutes. So you're already in the house for 1 hour and 11 minutes already, which leaves you 1 hour to be able to pitch. So in that hour, let's think of all the things we have to do. We have to spend about 40 to 45 minutes in step 5 alone, just step 5. I have to also assume that in your clothes, you were in your clothes for how long, brother? How long were you in the clothes?
15 minutes, 10 minutes.
Okay. So if we're talking 15 minutes, 15 here, that basically puts us at 1 hour and 30 minutes. So we only pitched for about 45 minutes. Well, 45 minutes bare minimum is going to be step 5 alone, bare minimum. We still have to do the pros and the cons. We still have to do our CPA. We still have to go through our, the things that we've got to go through. So problem number 1 is going to be right here. We shortcutted something here. Okay. And because we shortcutted something, that also sits there and changes the narrative of things when we get down to the close, where a customer is wanting to go ahead and need to shop us some more. I know what you said, but I need to hear it come from their mouth alone. So here's a couple questions I would sit there and ask. Number 1, when you ask the question, is this the window you want to put on your home over all others? What did they say?
Absolutely.
Okay. So when we also ask the question of the 5 different types of frame choices that you have, which one would you prefer to go with? And they sat there and they chose ours. And the reason why they chose ours is because it's the better vinyl. So my next question would be the 2 window companies that are coming out. What are the 2 window companies?
Champion and Advantage.
Okay. So Champion and Advantage. Okay. What kind of product does Advantage sell? Because we already know Champion is going to be vinyl. So they're both vinyl then. Okay. So when we looked up Advantage Windows' warranty, and when we looked up Champion's warranty, did their warranty say that they cover warping, or did we not look up the warranty at all?
I didn't have their warranties to show them, but I did talk to them about warpage and about seal failure, because I know that both of them don't cover that.
So here's our thing though, right? The challenge here is, they don't. Our job is to, remember, our job is to energy efficiency through education. The realization of energy efficiency through education. Operative word there, education. You can't talk them into it. So what we should have done is go to the Champion website or Google Champion window warranty, Find out from Advantage, look up Advantage windows, what brand of window that they carry, and then look up that window warranty. Go through this warranty and say, see, they don't do this, they don't do this, they don't do this, they don't do this. Now, again, Norm, do not take this the wrong way. This is going to go for everybody here. Okay. If you don't have your competitor's warranty already, then you need to look that warranty up when you're in the house to be able to help the customer. That's what you got to do. Okay. When I look up, when I'm looking for Window World's warranty, I literally Google Window World warranty, and I'm gonna have to click in a couple places, but I'll actually find the written warranty. Okay. Same thing with Pella, same thing with Renewal by Andersen, same thing with Simonton, same thing with Geldwin, and the list goes on and on and on and on. So number one thing we should have done, brother, is find warranties right away. Because this way, when you find the warranty and you start saying, hey, they don't cover this, they don't cover this, and then we can show them in writing, see, I wasn't lying to you. All of a sudden, you become more credible now. Right now, you sound like the guy that knows what they're talking about. You sound good. You've told me you've been selling windows since you were knee high to a grasshopper. I get that. But from a customer standpoint, I don't have anything that verifies what you're saying other than your word. And keep in mind, up until 4 o'clock, I didn't even know who the fuck you were. Okay. So challenge number one is we shortcutted. Challenge number two is we didn't pull their warranty. You all have iPads and cell phones. No excuse to not pull a competitor's warranty and look for it. Because after all, we're telling the customer we're going to help him. Hey, look, let me help you shop. Let's look into that. Let's look at this. Hey, look, Champion, great company, folks. You know how come I know it's a great company? Because they're part of us too. We are owned by Great Day Improvements, who owns us, who also owns Champion. Hell, our windows is made right out of the factory from there. I can tell you all you want to know about them. Not only that, check this out, and you pull up their warranty. Okay? By doing that, the information you gave, you'd have been able to then verify that, at least that proportion of that through the warranty in writing. All of a sudden, you become a lot more credible here. Okay? Now you become more credible. At the same time, let's go back to the question that we ask when we're going through the 5 different types of frames. Which one would you prefer? This one, out of curiosity. Why not any of the others? So now when they sit there and say, well, here's what I got to do. Okay, well, wait a minute, hold up. We've already looked at the warranties. So here's what we now know, though. The very thing you said you did not want is exactly what they're providing. We can tell that through part of the warranty here that they don't cover warping and things like that. So here's the deal. If this is the window you want to put on your home over all others, and you basically are saying that you believe everything I'm saying, but you want to hear it for yourself, then let me help you out here. Number one, let's assume that it's everything the way I said it is, except they come in at a better price. And let's say that better price is 30% cheaper than I am. Where would that put us? Where would we go? If we came in at, hypothetically, what price did you show them at, brother? What was your best price you left them at?
41,000, 50%.
Okay, so 41 grand. So I've got to ask the question here. If they come in at 35,000 and we're at 41, even though it is an inferior product, where would that put us? Are you telling me that this is the direction you would sit there and go? Would you go in this direction for $6,000? Okay, we have to start pecking away at that first. But the challenge here is we severely shortcutted things here, Norm. And again, not a shot at you, brother. Look, you may have worked at Renewal by Andersen, but your ass has been sitting in this classroom too, though, for about 4 weeks and some change and shit. So it's going to take you a minute to get your sea legs back underneath you. I mean, I don't give a shit how good somebody is. You take a month or so off, it takes a minute for everybody to get their sea legs underneath them. Okay. So that's number one. Number two, you don't have the advantage here that you have at Renewal by Andersen. At Renewal by Andersen, the advantage we always had is we knew we were the most expensive, but we knew we had a product that nobody in the world, damn the state that I'm in, nobody in the world has the same thing. 100% proprietary. Nobody on the planet can shop us other than to get a cheaper price. So we can get away with a little more of this because of that. Okay. So that being said, without going through anything else, Norm, what I would sit there and tell you is part of the challenge is we didn't spend enough time. We didn't sit there and give enough information. And then when we got the information ourselves, we didn't walk them down the road to be able to prove that what we're saying is in fact accurate. Because as they start to see that, then it's okay, you know what? You were right. All right, I'll go along with that. Now what we can get down to is price. Because we do have to ask the question and hold them to the question at some point in time, which is, this is the window you want to put on your home over all others. So the confusion that I have here is, that's what you said a minute ago, but we want to look at something else that's not this. So what's caused you to change your mind between now and then? What have I done to cause you to change your mind? Because that's not what you said a little while ago. Or do you just need a few more minutes there to think about the answer you already gave me? But this is what you said earlier. This is why we ask the closing questions that we do. If you do not ask these questions, we cannot hold them accountable to it. But if you're going to ask the question and get the answer you want to get, then we also have to hold them responsible to those answers and find out what caused them to change their mind between that time and now. So all these little micro closes that you hear me say when I sit there and say to a customer, so folks, there's my window. Do you like it? Do you love it? Talk to me about it. Oh man, that's an awesome window, Terry. But is it awesome enough that this is the window you want to put on your home over all others? Yeah, it is. Sir, are you being honest and sincere? Or are you just messing with me? Are you being serious, sir? For reals? You're not just saying that because I'm here. Nope, I'm being serious. We got to hold them to that. You got to hold them to it and find out, what did you do? What did you say? What did you not say that caused them to change their mind? Because earlier they said they were being honest and sincere, and this is the window they wanted to put on their home over all others. So between now and then, what changed? Now, if we didn't ask the question there, this is part of the reason why we got our answer then that we got. I got to hear it from them. Now we know why we should have asked that question. Not that you didn't. I'm just giving it as an example for anybody that doesn't do it. Okay. So there's the part I would start with there.
Just so you know, so the Champion website does not have their warranty on it, and you really can't find it by Googling it online. I do have this, which a homeowner gave me. This document's dated 2017, but it was from a quote in 2023. So I just took a scan of this and sent it out to all of you guys so that you do have it. But one thing I'd like to add to that is that guy that you linked me up with, Terry Justin, that works at Champion. He came by yesterday and we chatted in between a couple of appointments that he had. And he brought in his window for me to take a look at it. First off, it's just the window itself with a handle, no carrying case, no cover on it or anything. So it looks chinky. But whenever he brought it in, immediately when I went to open and close it, and he asked, he goes, you guys use the thicker, virgin vinyl. So I think that they do use that. However, a couple things just so you guys to know, if you are going up against Champion at all, is they don't have any balance covers. It's just a hollow cavity where the jam is. The locks, there's no reinforcement in the check rail at all. So it's completely hollow, no steel or fiberglass. The other thing is the locks. Not only are they hideous looking plastic cap locks, but when I opened it and tilted it in to clean, the whole entire lock, the keeper, the cap, the handle, as well as the actual cam is all plastic. The only metal involved in that lock whatsoever are the screws. And those, who knows, those are fucking plastic with paint that makes them look metal. And I forgot to ask them if they're foam insulated too. I asked him, what does this window sell for? And he said they start at about $3,500 a unit. And then they do a bunch of factory direct discounts, 2-for-1 deals, things like that. And their green line bottom end price is $1,800 on a standard double hung. So that gives you some good information that all of you guys can throw into your back pocket as well to be able to handle Champion pretty easily, despite the fact that they're coming from GDI as well. Really position it as that is their mid-grade product.
Okay, so just to add to this for a minute, Champion window warranty does not cover warping that I can find so far on here. So there is information on the warranty. If you look through it for a minute, because that's what I just did. When I put in champion window warranty, I had to look, but I found the information on the warranty. Necessary repairs it covers. Broken glass it covers. It doesn't say what about broken glass. Parts, seal failure, labor, screen repair, material waste removal. Does not sit here and talk about the covering of warping. If it should chip, fade, peel, pit, warp, or bubble up. That is not on this information, Mr. and Mrs. Customer, for their stuff. So 99.9%, if you just look, you're going to be able to find enough information to prove your point. Because I've never not been able to do that before. So you're going to be able to, okay, on most of these. You're going to. But the point is we at least have to sit there and do it. And this goes back to one of the hardest things there is to sit there and teach somebody is to go ahead and warranty. Here it is.
I mean, I just texted you the actual physical copy of it, Terry. You can pull that up if you want to. It really doesn't specify whether or not warping is covered. It just says no charge for any necessary repairs, any necessary parts, any necessary labor, any necessary material, any necessary or removal of job-related debris. No charge for any broken glass for unlimited occurrences. No charge for any seal failure for unlimited occurrences. No charge for any screen repair for unlimited occurrences. No proration. One of the interesting things on here, though, under the claim section is it says you must notify Champion about any claim within 30 days after you discover a problem, which is a huge loophole, you know, on there as well. And there is a standard $99 service trip fee regardless after 2 years.
And not only that, claims must need a copy of your sales contract, the serial number of your home, and the date of the home was purchased must be available as well when you call. Again, without looking at what Cody sent, I was able to find, and I'm a dipshit when it comes to this stuff, guys. You know, everybody here knows I'm a dipshit when it comes to this technology crap, and even I could find it. Okay, so again, there are things that we can do, but the point is we got to try to at least put that effort in when we run across something like that. You got to be able to do it. You know, like this one, Simonton. Do you guys have Simonton windows in your guys' markets?
We do here at High Performance Home Sales. Just read this quote, which was in 2023, was 14 windows for $25K. And that was $1,811 a unit. And then they gave them a 30-day price that was $30,400. So $5,000 more, 20% more is their 30-day price versus their sign on the spot price on this one too.
Right. So everybody get a copy of this so you have it. But you take a company like Simonton, for those of you who have it, you know, Simonton's warranty doesn't cover warping. The other thing about Simonton windows is you have to register your windows for the warranty to go into effect. And I'm very familiar with this because Simonton used to be who Sears sold nationwide. Either Sears or Certainty is who Sears used to do. Simonton, when you buy their windows, you get a card. You must take that card and fill everything out. And you got a certain time period to get that sent into Simonton in order for the windows to actually have a warranty. If that is not filled out in a certain time period from the time that the windows are installed, you receive no warranty. Your window has no warranty. There is no warranty with Simonton. So these things here again, let's look up our competitors, find out who they are. Let's start getting information and copies of warranties. And if you can't find them, then you will have enough time to get with all of our teammates here to say, hey, look, does anybody have this or his or this? What I don't want is for everybody just to sit there and start asking. Piss on that. Learn to look for it because you're going to need it. Don't just ask because you don't want to do it. Part of learning is going through the research of doing it. So that's what I would have done here, Norm, right away there first, bro. When I started hearing that, is I'd have started yanking warranties right away. Advantage windows. What brand of window do they sell?
They make their own, and there's a little confusion. Some people say it was all side, Some people say it's their own manufacturer, so I'm not sure. But it's
Okay.
basically a builder grade, it's basically a builder grade window. There's
So
nothing
check this
special
out.
about it.
Check this out. Hey, Cody,
Yep.
can you share a screen and get on a computer and share screen and look some stuff up online for us all at the same time so I can walk you through it?
Yep.
Okay. So while Cody's doing that, the conversation that we just had, or what Norm just said, was that Advantage claims that they make their window, or it could be all side, but we don't really know for sure, right?
Hey, Terry, just
So-
be quiet for 1 second, everybody, or this is gonna massively feedback until I mute this real quick. Sorry, 1 second. Okay, good.
Okay. So if we're not sure, here's how to find out. Cody, go to nfrc.org.
Well, uno momento, I have to log in with the host here.
It's a hard one to guys, you know. And the first website is
You guys are all going to want to learn to do this because you will need it at some point in time. Everybody does.
All right. Okay.
So-
There you go.
Let's make sure everybody writes this down. You're going to want to go to nfrc.org. When you get to this page, right there at the top page where it says Certified Product Directory, click on that.
1 second, I'm trying to get this off the screen here so everyone can see it in the office.
Okay, ready on your phone?
Certified Product Directory, click on that.
Here's Ryan.
Pen, there you go. Hit search directory right there in the center of the page. Click on manufacturer. Okay, so let's stop right here for a quick second. You'll see where it says product manufacturer, 699. What that means is currently right now in the United States or in Canada or somewhere else, there are a total of 699 window manufacturers making windows that are being sold in the continental United States at this time. Federal law requires that when you're selling a window in the US, you must have your windows and your company registered with the NFRC. So if you'll click on that drop button there to the right of where it says 699, this is every window company in the United States manufacturing windows in alphabetical order. So let's go down to W for a minute. Window World. Look for Window World. Imagine that. No Window World. That's because Window World does not make their window. Look at DeBella. DeBella loves to tell people they make their window. Find DeBella. Imagine that. No DeBella. Can you imagine? Because they do not make their window. So when a customer or a company or customer key tells you, hey, look, I know these guys said they make their window. Well, if Advantage makes their window, then let's look for Advantage. And if there's not an Advantage manufacturer there, then what we know for sure is they don't make their window. Can you imagine?
That's awesome.
However, you'll be able to find Allside on here. Outside is here. Allure is here. Window Mart is here. Pella's there. Anderson is there. But funny, no Window World, no DeBella. All these guys that claim to make their windows. There's another company here in Phoenix that loves to tell people they make their own window, and that's Desert King Windows. There ain't no Desert King windows there because they don't make their damn window. Window Mart makes their window. Now there is a Window Mart, but there's no Desert King window. Don Young, that's in Dallas. So the good thing about this tool, the NFRC's tool, is you'll be able to combat some of these people that like to sit there and say, well, I know that they make their window because that's what they told me. Really? Well, that's not true because they're not here. They're not here. Imagine that. So this is a good tool to be able to use for that. This is a good tool. Okay. Again, the NFRC is a portion of the government that regulates the energy efficiency of windows. Any window sold in the United States must be in here. It has to be. If it's not, then they can't do business in the United States, period.
Terry, what if they ask us what would you show them?
Well, we told them the truth. Number one, we're owned by Great Day Improvements. And number two, the windows are made for us out of our Champion factory. Champion Windows is going to be on here because Champion makes their window. They make windows. There's nothing wrong with sitting there saying, hey, look, we own the company. This is our window. It's a line of windows made for us and only us. The Insignia 4 window is our product made for us here. And this is us. We can say that. That is a fact. That is who we are. But that's what you do.
Oh, Great Day's there.
See? So we can say that. There it is. Bigger than shit. It's made for us out of our Champion warehouse or out of our Champion location. Okay. This way, when some windows start showing up, this guy happens to have Champion label on the damn thing.
No, it
and
doesn't.
people start tripping out.
No, I found out it doesn't. So we're good there. It says GDI Janus, and it does not say it. So one of our installers told them we just picked up your order from the Champion warehouse. You guys are getting Champion. So I fixed that. It does not say Champion.
Okay, so in this case here, we can show Great Day Improvements.
Yeah.
So there are a lot of companies out there, or not companies, but window selling companies, if you want to call it that claim that they sell and make their own window, that it's specifically made for them for this particular type of an environment and all that other bullshit. Fine, let's find out if that's true. Let's look it up. So here's an opportunity, for example, Norm, if that lady sat there and said, well, I know that Advantage makes their window. I know that they do because that's what they told me. That's why they come in with such a good price. Well, ma'am, I don't want to sit there and call anybody a liar. But here's what I will tell you. Let me show you something. What we're going to do is we're going to go to the NFRC.org. Now, NFRC is the National Fenestration Rating Council, Miss Customer. That is a portion of the government that regulates the energy efficiency for windows. Anytime a window is sold in the United States, that window and the factory that makes it must be in here. That's federal law. Unfortunately, as I go through this, and I already knew the answer, I'm just trying to show you, there is no Advantage Window Corporation here, period. Because they do not make their shit. They just don't. Unfortunately, in this industry, there are a lot of people out there that like to tell everybody that they manufacture their own window and it's specifically made for them for this particular type of environment. And unfortunately, that is not true, unfortunately. Okay. So let me explain. All right. Let's go back to that. Now that you go in that, go back to the window. Cody, click out of those names there. Okay. Where you have single hung and double hung, click into that for a minute. Hit. Okay, click on it and then hit find product.
You want single hung, double hung?
Yeah, that's fine. I just need
Okay.
windows of any, I just need windows of any kind from anywhere. That's fine. Click on any of them fuckers. Okay. This is not user friendly, but this will give you an idea. Okay, so scroll up a little bit, Cody.
It's good for the DMV for the portal.
Okay. Keep scrolling. What we're looking for, Cody, is look to your far right.
Oh,
You see,
1,400 products?
go down below. You see the windows here where it says at the end, low E, CL, no grids. You see that?
Oh, yeah, here.
Okay. Low E means it's got low E. CL means it's clear glass. And of course, grids means it has grids. What you want to do on these is you can use these a little bit. They're not user friendly, but it can help you though. Okay. Do me a favor, click on number, I don't know, click on number 54 at the bottom here, page 54. Let's click on that one. Let me see something. Okay, everything is clear glass.
Because I can do, you can sort this by like actual U factor and find some of the more, like here you go.
No, what I'm looking for is something with I want something with tint in it is what I'm looking for. So tint, you would see something that'll either say GR for gray, BR for bronze, something like that. I want to be able to do one clear glass versus tint. The reason why I brought this up is because of Ari. Okay. You may need to pick a different line of window, bro. Or pick a different company to make it easier. This is obviously their shit window. It's the single hung. Ari called me the other day and she was in a house with a customer on the job that she sold the other day. And one of the things that came up was the customer had wanted some tint. And we were looking at different windows. Okay. She showed me a picture of the windows. I got on the telephone with her customer and her and just walked them through that by adding tint to the window does not make the window more energy efficient. It actually makes it worse. It doesn't make it better. It makes it worse. Okay. You can kind of sort of show that on here to a customer if you know what you're looking for. So these are all clear glass. We want to go where they have clear and then tint next to it.
A lot of pages on this one. I don't know, a lot of them have.
Yeah, you just got to find them, dude. They're there, but in either case, I'll find it, take a screenshot, and then we'll do it tomorrow. I'll show you guys tomorrow. Like, so see what this is telling you here. See how it's got argon. Some of them will show krypton, all that in it. This is not user friendly because what this is this is each individual window, one size to the next size, to the next size, to the next size. So there are going to be hundreds and hundreds of windows in here. So it's hard for you to be able, you won't be able to look this up to show a customer how much better your particular 72 by 72 inch window versus somebody else's. You won't be able to see it in here like that. Okay. But all this stuff in here will tell you something if you know what you're looking for. Like that, let's stop right there. If you look at that first window at the very top, if you want to know what that tells you is that there's argon gas in it. It's the 90 means it's 90% fill, clear glass. So if you go all the way across, it'll tell you foam filled insulation that's going to be in the frames. See, there it is again, argon gas, air mixture is a 90-10 mixture. It has low E clear glass with grids in it. Okay. That's what that's telling you. What it doesn't tell you is what the size of the window is, which is the part that makes it very difficult for you to be able to compare one window size to another. So in this case here, you won't be able to do that here to be able to help yourself in the house. That part sucks, but you know, there is some help you can get out of using this tool. Okay. But the big thing is to push back people that claim that they make windows that they really don't.
I was looking for Allside on here because I know that they have the tilted, tinted windows. You guys see that? I don't even see.
Go to Window Mart. Try Window Mart real quick. Go into their double hung. Or okay, that's their awning window, but we can try to click in and see.
All right. You know which one of these? The 6 or the?
Yeah, either one of those should work. And it's just a matter of look, there it is right there, stop. So you see where it says clear, let's start with the first window. See where it says air-filled, clear glass, no grids. If you look across, your solar heat gain is 0.59 because there's no low E, no nothing. Then when you look at the gray tint, you'll notice how the solar heat gain and everything drops down because it's got the low E in that. So what you have to do is compare one of those to low E with colonial grids. Like look at window, come down to, keep coming, Cody. Keep coming, bingo, right there. Go up again, go up 2 more spots. Right there. You look at this window here, you see the solar heat gain is 0.27 with gray tint in it. Same exact window, which is the one above it. Solar heat gain is lower. Adding tint to the window does not make the window more efficient for solar heat gain. It makes it worse, not better. The reason for it is because tinted windows have to be discolored. The glass has to be the glass has to be made to be darker. The darker glass absorbs heat. Therefore, the heat absorbing in the glass fights against the low E coating. A low E coated window, you cannot put an aftermarket tint on it. That's impossible. An aftermarket tint will cause the glass to break. So that's why if you look at all of these warranties that have high performance low E coatings, they'll tell you you cannot put an aftermarket tint. So the only way to tint it is to discolor the glass. If you make the glass darker, it'll absorb heat. And on these windows, these are going to be the 2 same windows here, sizes, but you'll notice solar heat gain is higher with the tint than without. It's going to be that way every time. So your customer who's thinking by getting that it's going to be better will not be better. You'll actually make it worse for them. Does that make sense, everybody?
Yeah, it does.
Hold on real quick. Phil, you still in that house? Okay, what's going on?
I'll touch on it super quick, but if somebody's really obsessed with the rebate, that for federal tax credit, you'll notice which ones double hung pictures. That's a book that qualifies, so casements, awnings, picture windows, double hungs do. Just so you know.
Does he know you're a Vikings fan? Okay.
Yeah, there's double. That's it. And they have tilted things, so I like to show people that. Well, you go to. But.
Well, you tell him I've got a Pittsburgh Steelers birdhouse. Beat that.
Like, so that you're not carrying, as you know.
Well, we obviously cannot match Greco's price, obviously. Okay. And we're not supposed to because we have a triple paint product. However, if the difference here is $2,000 is what we're looking at, is the difference, then in order to go ahead and get that promotional house going for them, even though he's a Raider fan, then I'll help him out a little. We're going to need some things from him, Phil. So you're going to have to go over the target marketing stuff that we're going to go ahead and need. But let's go ahead and split the difference with him on here. I'm assuming you can be able to get there, correct? Yeah. So let's go ahead and split the difference here with him and make sure that he can cover all the target market stuff. Let's go ahead and get him taken care of real quick and reach out there and shake that man's hand. Let's get this thing done. Okay.
Amen.
All right. Let me know. Bye. All right. Sorry about that, guys. So it looks like he'll get this. So, so anyway, this is a very good tool to use in the house to prove certain things. Okay. I don't know about DeBella where you guys are at, but here in Phoenix and in Tucson, DeBella is huge on telling everybody that they make the window. They make the window themselves. And not only do they make it, it is specifically made for this particular environment only by them. Well, of course, if you're reading stuff, you're not going to be able to find it. But if you go to the NFRC, we can go to it right away and see that that's a lie. So we've sold a lot of deals here in Arizona over the years from DeBella anyway, just by using this NFRC website here. So strongly suggest you guys have it and learn how to kind of at least look up that. That'll help you when you run across some of those people. Okay. So that's it, Cody. I'm good with that, with this part, buddy.
Another thing that's kind of cool that is on here is that there is Great Day Improvements, but there's also Champion. So, you know, we can talk about how, you know, Champion is also owned by Great Day Improvements, but like, it's not the same window. That's why they're on here separately, you know? Yeah. So I think that can help differentiate them as well.
Mm-hmm. So, good tool for you guys to learn how to use for stuff like that. Good tool. It's a good tool for that. I can't tell you how many times this thing has saved my bacon when it comes to that.
Does Champion even do a double hung? You know, I forgot to ask Justin yesterday if they offer double hung at all. This only says single hung on here, so it seems like they don't.
So there's a little more you can do if you go back to the last page you were at. Go ahead and expand on the next one where it says performance criteria. If you put in the minimum U factor, max U factor, stuff like that you're looking for, you can pop some stuff in there and you can leave visible light transmittance out of it. But when you click on that, expand the next one below that, Cody. Then you can select frame types and all this other good stuff. Then what'll happen is it'll pull things a lot easier, and all of a sudden you'll see different lines of shit coming out, bro.
Cool. Okay, let's look at the Milgard aluminum.
You have to select sash type and fill all that in. So Milgard has a thermally broke. Yeah, where's the thermal break? Glazing layers. Are you looking for a double or a triple pane?
Oh, I don't even know if they offer. I mean, that could probably be.
Yeah, Champion offers their slider actually opens inside like a door, so you can come in.
So like, no, something for you.
Yeah, see, you can play with some of that stuff, dude, and you'll find what they have or don't have and all that. So what you're asking for means they don't have what you're asking for. Or you didn't put enough information in.
Gotcha.
Okay. When you do that and you get a little more specific on stuff, then different lines of other different types of lines of windows will come out then. So anyway, let's monkey with this later, Code, if you don't mind.
Yeah.
See, all of a sudden you see how many lines on that last page?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you start getting a little more specific and shit, and you'll start pulling stuff that you weren't seeing before, bro. Okay. So anyway, this is what you guys are that's a good tool for you to mess with. Norm, going back to your deal, sir, again, what I would tell you is it's hard for me to be able to tell you what to say and how to say it when we shortcutted some things, but to give yourself a better chance, if we'd have spent a little more time doing the other stuff that we needed to do, and then start going through stuff like this and full warranties and whatnot, you'd have probably be able to put yourself in a different position, Norm. And then from there, we can have a different kind of a conversation. You know, we can kind of go down that road that you heard me going down with the very happily and good looking couple of, you know, RuPaul and, well, Richard Simmons yesterday. So then we could have tried to go down that road that way. But in order to do that, we have to give up a little more. Does that make sense?
Absolutely, yep.
Okay. So, hey, what's going on, Keith? My Provia guy, Keith Schlabach. Hey, Keith, you can come over here and wave to everybody because I've talked about you so damn much. You know, this guy ain't like Dwayne Campbell. I'm just telling you right now, that piece of shit. What's up, baby? You good? Good, good. Mr. Keith Schlabach. So tomorrow, Keith will be or Monday, Keith will be going over, Heather and I, and we'll work on that pricing for the doors and the black on black and stuff like that. And then I'll see what I can't do to talk Keith into sitting there, seeing if he can steal some more shit for me. So for now, I'll let you go since Keith got here, and you guys can get prepared for your meeting here pretty quick. Okay. Norm, just so you know, I didn't forget about you. We'll cover some more again tomorrow on this. I don't want you to think I'm going to leave it at this. Okay.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
You got it. Thanks, everybody. You guys be good. Go have fun out there today.
Hi, Terry.